Chapter 326. After the bidding for the artificial river project in Hadong City was confirmed, it caused quite a stir. Su Yun had lunch at Tang Zhengtian's house. When he returned to the hotel, Lu Feng, Dan Hongning, and Kong Zhong, who had just been discharged from the hospital, were all waiting for him. Everyone knew Su Yun's style of doing things. Whenever he went out alone, it must be something important. Therefore, although the three of them were very anxious, they followed Ruan Qingxuang's instructions and didn't call Su Yun to ask when he would be back. Instead, they waited patiently for him in the hotel. When he finally saw Su Yun, Lu Feng was the first one who couldn't sit still. He had been with Su Yun for a long time, so he knew that Su Yun didn't like to beat around the bush. He said bluntly, "Brother Yun, what do you think Mayor Qin is doing?" "I'm speechless. Is it necessary for him to be so ruthless in order to maintain our relationship?" Kong Zhong was injured, so he didn't have much of a reaction. However, it was obvious from his expression that he was quite disappointed. Dan Hongning was afraid that Su Yun didn't understand Lu Feng's words, so he explained, "Brother Yun, Feng means that the city has set the latest bidding rules. They say that only construction companies with first-class qualifications or above can participate in the bidding for the artificial river project. Isn't Mayor Qin in charge of this? He must be the one who said it. It's too high. We don't even have the qualifications to participate in the bidding. Brother Yun, don't blame them for being unhappy. For this project, we have worked hard and suffered a lot. We even lost 2 of our brothers." Kong Zhong said, "Therefore, we really want to get this project and do a good job. If Mayor Qin is only targeting us, we don't care. However, he knows that we are all on your side, Brother Yun. He is not giving you face. Brother Yun, to put it bluntly, Mayor Qin came to Hadong City. If it weren't for Brother Yun and Chong helping him with the demolition issue, who knows what he would be doing now? How could he have the opportunity to be in charge of such a lucrative job? Even if he is doing this to return Brother Yun a favor, he should. What's the saying again? Even if you don't give the monk face, you still have to give the Buddha face, right?" The three of them spoke one after another, but what they wanted to express was very clear. Su Yun knew the main meaning of these 3 guys. In fact, they were not angry that Lu Feng's company, which only had a 3rd-grade qualification, had completely lost the artificial river project, but they were angry that Mayor Qin did not give Su Yun any face. Su Yun smiled faintly, his expression calm and composed. "That's all?" Seeing Su Yun's nonchalant expression, the 3 tigers of Southern City were unhappy. "Big Brother Yun, what do you mean by this trivial matter? This isn't a matter of whether or not it's a matter of face. We gave Mayor Qin face because of Officer Qin, but in this matter, he didn't give you face, Brother Yun. Is this a small matter?" Seeing how the 3 of them were so protective of her, Su Yun was very touched. But then again, these 3 brats really didn't use their brains. Did they think that Mayor Qin was that kind of person? He had been in the government for so many years. How could he not know this? "All right, the 3 of you don't have to be so anxious. Mayor Qin really gave us face on this matter. This is all my arrangement." Su Yun's words were really shocking, directly shocking the South City 3 tigers. Lu Feng was the first one who didn't understand. "Brother Yun, if Mayor Qin gave you face, then you can tell him to invite us directly. Although this task is a bit big for me, it's not like we don't have friends. We can ask them for help. After all, we have so many brothers. You can do this work? After it's completed, it will be more than 200,000 square meters. Do you have the ability?" Su Yun made it clear. Lu Feng's Adam's apple trembled. "We can get a loan. If the bank loan isn't enough, we also have friends who can finance and invest. I don't believe that we can't get some money. Okay, funds are not a problem. What are you going to build?" Su Yun hit the nail on the head. Lu Feng was stunned for a long time, then he looked back at Kong Zhong. "You said 200,000 square meters. What can we build?" Kong Zhong also shook his head. Wasn't asking him for nothing? He didn't know what to build. He didn't have any experience in the construction industry. It was because Brother Yun put them together that he and Lu Feng learned some superficial knowledge of construction. Dan Hongning didn't wait for Lu Feng to look at him and directly stopped him. "Don't ask me. We didn't study planning or design." After a round of choking, Lu Feng was speechless. "Big Brother Yun, it doesn't matter what we build. As long as we fix the river, the surrounding land will be ours. At most, we'll sell the land. If it doesn't work, we can build 2 rows of villas with water views. We can sell them at a high price. Do you think Secretary Qin will give you this project with your little skills? What he wants is the effect of killing many birds with one stone. First of all, the artificial river needs to be refurbished. This is only one of the reasons. The development of the river bank must meet the standards of Hadong, a tourist city. Only then can it drive the economic and employment pressure. There are many things that you haven't considered. Do you think you can win this project with just your ability?" Su Yun patted Lu Feng's shoulder. "Brother, don't dream. This job is not something you can carry. But don't worry, I promise you will get a share because this project is already in the bag of Tang Group." Tang Group? What the F***CK? Lu Feng was stunned. "Brother, so you have already made arrangements. Alright, I'm completely convinced. I'm not on the same level as him. Brother Yun will definitely think of me if there is a job to be outsourced." "Of course." Su Yun nodded. He saw that Kong Zhong was discharged from the hospital and asked a question. "Where are the people who brought people to attack you last time? Do you have any clues?" The 3 tigers of Nanqing shook their heads. Later, Kong Zhong seemed to think of something. Listening to the voice of that group of people, their tongues were a bit hard. When they spoke, they pronounced love. "People from Yijiang." Dan Hongning was the first to react. "One of my subordinates' hometown is Yijiang." He spoke with this accent. Su Yun said without hesitation, "Call your subordinate here." Of course, Su Yun would not let go of the matter of his brothers being beaten up. Since they had the ability to make such a big scene, the company in their hands must not be small. Therefore, Su Yun completely believed that the company of the mastermind should be at least level 1 aptitude. Because he roughly asked around, the teams that were driven away by the 3 tigers of Nanqing who wanted to come to Hadong City to inspect the artificial river were mostly level 2 or level 2 aptitudes. Many of them knew the difficulties and retreated. About half an hour later, a young man in his early 20s who followed Dan Hongning appeared in the hotel. Seeing so many big shots, the subordinate obviously had some stage fright. "Ma Peng, this is Brother Yun." Dan Hongning pulled his subordinate in front of everyone and pointed at Su Yun. Ma Peng was very clever. He stuck out his big tongue and shouted, "Brother Yun! You should call him Grandpa Su." Lu Feng corrected. "He already calls us Brother Yun. Is Brother Yun on the same level as us?" "Xiaodan, there's something wrong with the way you educate your subordinate." "Grandpa Su," Ma Peng hurriedly corrected. Su Yun waved his hand. "What grandpa? Don't listen to their nonsense. Ma Peng, I'll write a few words for you. Read it for me." As he spoke, Su Yun wrote down a string of numbers and handed it to Ma Peng. Ma Peng was stunned for a moment, then said seriously, "1 loves 3, 3 loves 1, the goose has a fun, this year is in the 2nd grade." After Ma Peng finished reading it seriously, Su Yun handed the piece of paper with the words, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. "I have a son who is in 2nd grade this year," to Kong Zhong. Kong Zhong looked at the piece of paper and asked Ma Peng to repeat what he had just said. Then, he came to a realization and slapped his thigh. "What's wrong? Why are you so surprised?" Lu Feng glared. "That's right. The people who attacked us that night were from Yijiang. There's no mistake about the accent." Kong Zhong said seriously, "I'm sure that the other party is the person we stopped from Yijiang to inspect this place. It's definitely that brilliant construction group's doing." Su Yun immediately took out his phone to check Yijiang City's brilliant construction group. It was indeed a company with first-class construction qualifications. The boss was a person called Fan Tianlong. Su Yun then went to Ijeong City's Cheba to search for posts about Brilliant Construction Group. It seemed that everyone was angry with Fan Tianlong but did not dare to say anything. Ma Peng, your hometown is Ijeong. Do you know Fan Tianlong? Su Yun asked. Ma Peng nodded. I know. He's a local tyrant. Su Yun smiled. It should be him. Hearing Brother Yun's confirmation, Lu Feng clenched his fist. F*CK, how dare he act so atrociously on our heads? I'll take my brothers to Ijeong tonight and kill that Fan bastard. Wouldn't that be letting him off too easily? Su Yun smiled. Since this person is so ruthless to you, he definitely won't let go of the artificial river project. Let's wait for him to come to Hadong before we teach him a good lesson. Brother Yun is right. We have to let him know what it means to not take the road to heaven but to enter the door to hell. Dan Hongning was also ruthless. The two people who died in the accident were his little brothers, which made him very unhappy. A few people were filled with righteous indignation, thinking about how to ruthlessly play with Fan Tianlong. Chou Yen and Guagua, who had just returned from school, interrupted everyone's conversation. Guagua put her hands behind her back and asked like a little adult, "What are you guys talking about? Are you guys learning how to pick up girls from my dad?" Everyone was speechless and looked down at this little ancestor. Su Yun's face was black. Guagua, why are you adding to the mess? Is your butt itching? Tisk, it's not. Guagua snorted. It's our Miss Su who misses you. Today, she asked me and Cho Yun about you. She asked why she hasn't seen you for a long time. She asked what happened to you and if something happened. I invited Miss Su to come, but she didn't come. I think Miss Su is crazy. Chapter 327. Ruan Qingxuang saw that Guagua had finished school. While peeling the dragon fruit in her hand for Guagua to eat, she went forward and asked the 3 tigers of Nanqing, "Do you want to stay for dinner? If you want to stay, then I will call Chang and ask him to come over when he has time." The 3 tigers of Nanqing looked at each other. This idea was really good. They hadn't had a drink with Brother Yun for a long time. They really wanted to stay for dinner and have a good chat with Brother Yun. But before the 3 people spoke, Guagua made the decision for them first. No, no. They are not insensible. How can they stay for dinner? Don't you think so? What do you mean by yes or no? How can staying for dinner be called insensible? Dan Hongning stared at this little ancestor. It turned out that she was driving them away. He didn't remember which of the 3 of them had offended this little ancestor. How could they not be welcomed? This matter really put him on tenterhooks. No matter who he offended, he couldn't offend this little ancestor. One had to know that this was Su Yun's favorite. Seeing the 3 tigers of Nanqing looking at each other with a confused look, Guagua sighed. Rotten wood can't be carved. It is said that absence makes the heart grow fonder. Don't you think that tonight's time should be left for? When Guagua was halfway through her words, Ruan Qingxuang directly blocked her mouth with the dragon fruit in her hand. At this time, the 3 tigers of Nanqing suddenly realized. Kong Zhong hurriedly nodded and said, "Right, we have urgent things to do tonight. Brother Yun, we will leave first. If there is anything, feel free to call us." Lu Feng really wanted to slap himself. He didn't use his pig brain to think. Brother Yun hadn't come back for so many days. It was hard to have some private space with Sister Shuang. Wouldn't they be messing it up here? When it came to fighting, he could still give it his all. However, when it came to EQ and IQ, he suddenly felt that he was not even as good as a 16 or 17-year-old child. Sister Shuang, Brother Yun, the 3 of us are all idiots. Please don't take offense. You can have a good gathering tonight and have a good chat. We won't disturb you. Hee, Brother Yun, I wish you a happy and joyful night. Lu Feng chuckled. Dan Hongning also stood up and walked out as he said, "Brother Yun, strike a balance between work and rest. Don't tire yourself out at night." Su Yun really wanted to slap the 3 of them. Wasn't he being too nice to them now? These 3 fellows actually dared to make fun of him in front of his face. Su Yun suddenly stood up. If you want to scram, then scram. Whoever I catch today will be the unlucky one. When the 3 tigers of Southern City saw this, they ran away. As they ran, they laughed and laughed. They didn't expect Brother Yun to be embarrassed. Although Guagua's mouth was blocked, she still fanned the flames. When the group of people were fooling around, no one noticed that Cho Yun had already turned around and went back to her room upstairs. After the incident in Suong, it seemed that her mood had not been adjusted. Therefore, her mood was not very good. Seeing that the 3 tigers of Southern City had also left, Ruan Qingxuang shook her head helplessly and asked Su Yun, "What do you want to eat tonight? I'm afraid that you won't be able to stay idle after coming back. Why don't I go and make you some minced meat and sea cucumber to nourish you? Do I still need nourishment with this body of mine? Sister Shuang, now that I see that you are a lot more haggard, you should nourish yourself more," Su Yun said gently. Ruan Qingxuang's face was slightly flushed. I'm fine. I think I'm fine." Guagua ate the whole dragon fruit. Looking at the 2 people who were looking at each other, she shrugged her shoulders and said, "I just want to say, ouch." Hearing the mushy sound of this little thing, Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang really couldn't do anything to her. Who asked the 2 of them to be lucky enough to have such a good girl in this life? Others couldn't wait to be envious, right? Good girl, so beautiful. Even the flowers bloom for me. Guagua didn't feel that she had done anything wrong at all. She swaggered away while singing. She waved her small hand and said, "Tonight, the 2 of you go and have a candlelight dinner. I want Sister Cho Yun to take me to Gold Leopard for a buffet." Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang didn't take Guagua's words seriously at all. However, Cho Yun, who had gone upstairs to change her clothes and tie up her hair, came downstairs at the right time. She pulled Guagua's hand and said, "You've asked for leave, right? Let's go." "Yes, I've asked for leave." Guagua nodded seriously. "Wait a minute, no, can we make things clear?" Su Yun didn't understand for a long time. "Guagua, what you said just now was a notice, not a leave. Why can't we go to the buffet? Can't you be more generous and treat the 2 of us?" Guagua's head shook like a rattle drum. She took out 2 buffet coupons from her pocket and said, "Because Miss Su gave me 2 coupons. So Sister Cho Yun and I discussed on the way back. The 2 of us will go and eat." Su Yun was speechless. If he knew this girl had this idea, he would have asked the 3 tigers of Nanqing to stay and drink together. At this moment, Guagua stepped forward and pulled Su Yun. She whispered, "Dad, it's a good opportunity." This child was really sensible. Su Yun also felt that he really needed a chance to be alone with Ruan Qingxuang. It seemed that since they moved from the doorhouse opposite Iha Square Park to this hotel, there was a layer of invisible but palpable barrier between him and Ruan Qingxuang. This couldn't be explained in a sentence or 2. In addition, Su Yun had been busy with various things during this time, and Ruan Qingxuang had been afraid to disturb him. The various barriers between the 2 were obviously increasing. Guagua was really a good daughter. At this time, she could still be so considerate for her father. "Dad, do you remember the 100 yuan I asked you for?" Guagua blinked and said proudly, "I said that I would help you court your mother, and I will definitely help you court your mother. Recently, you have neglected your mother's feelings too much." Although Guagua's voice was not loud, it was enough for several adults to hear. Except for Ruan Qingxuang, who ran away with a red face, Su Yun was stunned by her. "Bye-bye, see you later." Guagua stretched out her small fat hand and waved. "Go out and turn right. Less than 200 meters away, there is a Western restaurant. I passed by after school, so I ordered a candlelight dinner for you. When you go, just say that you are the boss of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. The dishes have been ordered and the money has been paid. You can't not go." After that, Guagua pulled Cho Yun and hurriedly left. Things like eating buffets had to be early. If they were late, there would be less choices for seafood. LV Wenny, who was standing not too far away, had heard all these words. It seemed that there was no need to worry about Su Yun and Sister Shuang's dinner tonight. Everyone had gone out to improve their lives. It seemed that a lot of people had come here to eat to improve their lives. People were like this. No matter what good things they ate, they would get tired of it. When she heard that Guagua had paid the money, Ruan Qingxuang's character of not being extravagant and wasteful was reflected. She looked at Su Yun, and her eyes were testing whether Su Yun wanted to eat the candlelight dinner that Guagua had ordered for them. Sister Shuang, you decide. I don't care what I do. Su Yun smiled. For some reason, Ruan Qingxuang was a little angry at Su Yun's words. Couldn't he take the initiative and say that he wanted to go with her? Ruan Qingxuang, who had almost never lost her temper, unexpectedly did not answer Su Yun's question. Instead, she looked at Dan Jiahao, who was not far away, and then looked at LV Wenny, who was beside her. Wenny, I know that Jiahao is chasing you. Why don't you two go? Sister Shuang will let you two rest tonight. This time, LV Wenny was really flattered. Dan Jiahao, who was not far away, heard this and ran over like a gust of wind. Sister Shuang, you're not joking with us, right? He was a few years younger than LV Wenny. LV Wenny had never accepted him because of their relationship. Now that he had Sister Shuang's support, Dan Jiahao was naturally injected with chicken blood. When have I ever joked with you? Quickly take Wenny. Ruan Qingxuang nodded and replied. Thank you, Sister Shuang. Dan Jiahao's face was full of happiness. It felt as if he was flying freely on the prairie. One word, awesome. 2 words, exploding awesome. LV Wenny flicked Dan Jiahao's head. What are you thanking me for? This is the candlelight dinner that Guagua prepared for Brother Yun and Sister Shuang. Why are you so brainless? Can't you see that Sister Shuang and Brother Yun are fighting? You still want to thank me? Thank your head. Go away, go do whatever you need to do. LV Wenny, who was a few years older, was naturally more attentive than Dan Jiahao when it came to these things. Dan Jiahao, to put it bluntly, was just a little brat who had just turned 18. How would he know what a woman's heart was like? LV Wenny had always thought that no one knew that Dan Jiahao was chasing after her. She did not expect Sister Shuang to know. Moreover, Dan Jiahao was so excited just now that it made her feel quite embarrassed. She hit him a little harder, and Dan Jiahao covered his head and ran away. Brother Yun, a man is a man after all. Sometimes, you have to take responsibility as a man. When he first arrived at the medicinal cuisine restaurant, she was still a little girl who did not dare to speak loudly. Now that she had moved to the medicinal cuisine restaurant, she met more people and came into contact with more things. She also grew up a lot. When she talked to Su Yun, she was not so submissive. When you were not around, Sister Shuang missed you the most every day. Now that you are back, you should spend more time with Sister Shuang. No one knows if something will happen to you again. You have been away for 10 days to half a month. What do you think? Su Yun slapped himself on the forehead. This matter was really his fault. After being scolded by LV Wenny, Su Yun admitted his mistake quite sincerely. If he told Lu Feng that his cousin dared to scold Brother Yun, he would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. A man should act like a man. Su Yun did not hesitate. He walked to Ruan Qingxuang and put his arm around Ruan Qingxuang's shoulder casually. Sister Shuang, don't lower yourself to my level. Let's go. Guagua has good intentions. We can't let her down, right? Chapter 328. The Western restaurant next to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel was really not low class. Su Yun thought Guagua, that stingy little girl, was willing to spend so much money. She must have made a big decision, right? After all, it was no secret that Guagua loved money. Good evening, both of you. Do you have a reservation? When the waitress opened the door for them, she asked politely in a professional manner. Su Yun nodded and gestured at the height of his waist. Yes, a little girl about this height reserved it for us. I'm from the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel next door. The waitress said, "Oh," 3 times in a row and said with a surprised expression, "It's Mr. Su and Ms. Ruan, right?" I didn't expect both of you to be so young. Hee, your daughter is really cute. She is also very sensible. I heard that today is your wedding anniversary, so your daughter came to book the second floor for you and reserved a candlelight dinner. Hee, Ms. Ruan, you are really happy. You have such a good husband and daughter. Ruan Qingshuang now had a big headache. How did the two of them get married on their anniversary? How did Su Yun become her husband? Just thinking about it, her face felt a little hot. What was Guagua doing? She and Su Yun had known each other for more than 3 months. Yes, 3 months and a few days. After careful calculation, Ruan Qingshuang suddenly realized. From the day Su Yun saved her until today, it was a full 100 days. This was the 100-day anniversary of their acquaintance. The two adults were not as careful as a little girl. Just as Ruan Qingshuang figured out today's date, Su Yun seemed to understand too. What a good Feng Guagua. No wonder she asked for 100 yuan at that time. She said that she wanted to help him get his mother's favor. In fact, she was hinting that she would help him on the 100th day. As the waitress led the two of them upstairs, she smiled and said, "You two are so young, and your children are already so big. Which anniversary is it?" "This is." Ruan Qingshuang really couldn't describe it. The 100th day of Memorial Day? Then how could they explain having such a big child? He was having a headache. Su Yun coughed lightly and tried to change the topic. "Well, the two of us were betrothed before we were born, so it should be considered our silver wedding anniversary, right?" Ha ha ha. Wow, 25 years of marriage is considered a silver wedding. I didn't expect the two of you to still be so loving even though you were betrothed before you were born. I'm so envious. The waitress was really envious. Why hadn't she been betrothed to such a gentle, rich, and handsome man who loved her? Obviously, Su Yun, who was the owner of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, was definitely tall, rich, and handsome in the eyes of ordinary people. The three of them went to the second floor. Guagua really did reserve the entire floor. There was only a long table under the crystal lamp in the center of the hall. The atmosphere was so romantic that Ruan Qingshuang couldn't believe her eyes. Su Yun saw that Ruan Qingshuang's face actually revealed a little girl's expectation. He turned to the waitress and said, "I'm sorry, please give us some privacy. You can serve the dishes. Also, we don't need anyone to serve us, and we don't need any pianos or violins to play, so I hope no one will disturb us." The waitress understood Su Yun's meaning. She immediately stopped talking and quickly left the second floor. Seeing that there was finally no one, Ruan Qingshuang dared to speak. Her tone didn't have any hint of blame. "Guagua, this brat, why did she make such a big scene? How much money did she waste?" Su Yun shook his head. "I'm not generous enough to reserve the entire restaurant for dinner, so I really don't know. My life is worth it to have such a daughter who is willing to spend money on me." This meal was not like the small Western restaurant where 2 steaks and a portion of spaghetti were enough to fill one's stomach. Serious French cuisine was very particular about the dishes and wine. The appetizers were pre-meal bread and French-baked snails, followed by Cotillard white wine, black fungus cream soup, and assorted salad. Then, there was 1982 Lafite red wine. The hot appetizer was French red wine fried foie gras, followed by the main dish of fruitwood steak, accompanied by the top German Pinot Noir red wine. Finally, there was Burgundy Gaudengole white wine and chocolate mousse. Ruan Qingshuang stared at each other during the meal. Wasn't this too complicated? I'm not afraid of you laughing at me, but this is my first time eating French food. Ruan Qingshuang thought she was dreaming until the candlelight dinner was about to end. To be honest, I really don't want to eat French food anymore. I always feel that there are so many rules when eating. It's quite awkward. Su Yun nodded and agreed. I still like to eat our restaurant's medicinal hot pot. That fat beef and lamb is always delicious when you put it in the pot. Ruan Qingshuang pursed her lips and smiled. We can't say that to Guagua. She's such a careful child. We can't say such things to spoil her mood. Don't worry. She'll be in high spirits tonight. The person who can spoil Guagua's mood hasn't been born yet. Su Yun shrugged and smiled bitterly. I think she'll pester me when we get back. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. Ruan Qingxuang didn't need to think to know why Su Yun was worried. After all, his daughter was a little demon. Su Yun drank the dry white wine in his glass and said lightly, I didn't expect time to pass so quickly. We've known each other for 100 days. If Guagua hadn't thought about it, we would have both forgotten about it. I can't believe that a 6 or 7-year-old Guagua could be so careful. Ruan Qingxuang sighed. 100 days. Ha ha. Su Yun, I don't even dare to think about it now. If Guagua and I hadn't met you that day, I'm afraid I would have been forced out of Hadong City by LV Bao. To be honest, I really had the urge to leave Hadong City that day. At that time, I really had no other choice. It's all in the past. Don't think too much about it. Su Yun smiled. He knew that Ruan Qingxuang couldn't hold her liquor. Although they drank wine for dinner, it still had a certain degree of alcohol. Maybe it was because the alcohol affected Ruan Qingxuang that she felt so much. Ruan Qingxuang nodded. Yes, it's all in the past. I'm very, very grateful to God for allowing you to appear in my life. I'm very, very grateful to God. Su Yun, you've changed everything for me. I really don't know how to thank you. Su Yun touched his chin and thought for a while. He replied, You've already thanked me. You brought Guagua home when she was at her loneliest and most helpless. You treated her like your own daughter. That's why I have a goddaughter who changed my life so much. I should be the one thanking you. I should be thanking you for allowing me to meet you. If I hadn't met you, I'm afraid I would still be in the... Forget it. Let's not talk about it. It's all in the past. Su Yun, the more you talk about it, the more I feel like I owe you. Ruan Qingxuang's eyes seemed to be burning with tears. You know, after I ran away from home, I've always wanted to change my life with my own ability. I wanted my medicinal cuisine to succeed, but I couldn't do it alone. There are so many difficulties in reality. Everything changed after you appeared. I should be thanking you. Then let's thank each other. Ha ha ha. Su Yun couldn't help but laugh. He really didn't understand. The two people who came to have a candlelight dinner were actually thanking each other after dinner. It was really funny. Ruan Qingxuang lowered her head in embarrassment. She seemed to have realized that she had lost her composure, but she couldn't control herself now. She just wanted to say what was in her heart. Su Yun, because I have nothing to repay you with, I really thought that I might as well just give myself to you. Although I'm a woman who ran away from my marriage, I didn't let any man touch my body. Maybe the only thing I can repay you with is... So I can't think of a better way to repay you. Su Yun was stunned. He really didn't know how to respond to this. What did she mean? Debt of gratitude? Repay with flesh? It wasn't that this topic wasn't suitable for children. It wasn't that he hadn't seen it before, but he really didn't expect that with Ruan Qingxuang's personality, she would be so straightforward. Su Yun, you're really different from other men. Ruan Qingxuang was indeed so straightforward because of the alcohol. When you said that you wanted to come to the restaurant to be a chef, I wondered if you were like other men and wanted my body. At that time, I really thought so, but I still agreed to let you work in the restaurant because I was prepared that day. Even if you wanted to do anything to me that day, I wouldn't resist. Because not only did you give me a chance to persevere, you also gave Guagua a chance. It doesn't matter how I endure it, but I can't bear to let a child suffer with me. Su Yun was really quite guilty. He was also a serious and hot-blooded young man. If he said that he wasn't moved by Ruan Qingxuang's beauty at that time, that would be a lie. Otherwise, he wouldn't have helped her to the end so straightforwardly. But you never did anything inappropriate to me. Because of me, you offended so many people. Ruan Qingxuang became more and more moved as she spoke. But you never had the intention to give up on us. At that time, I was afraid that one day I would wake up and find that you weren't there. After you moved in with me, I really felt very safe. At that time, I felt towards you. Forget it, I don't even know what I'm saying, phew. Ruan Qingxuang wanted to say that she was moved by him at that time, but she eventually swallowed the words moved into her stomach. There were some words that she didn't know how to say, because she was too kind. At this time, she actually thought of her sisters. Chapter 329. Qin Wan might be the most depressed person today. Every Monday in the past, she would work overtime. If she was not attending a meeting, she would be attending a meeting with others. Anyway, she did not come back on time, so everyone was used to not waiting for her to have dinner on Monday. However, Qin Wan unexpectedly came back from work on time today. Even Dan Jiahao and LV Wenyi did not expect her to come back at this time. They all had their work meals with the staff, so the only one who did not have dinner was probably her. Sister Wan, what's wrong with you? Dan Jiahao said angrily, why did you come back so early today? Qin Wan rolled her eyes at him. Why? Are you sad that I don't work overtime? Can't I go to work on time? Let me tell you, I am normal now. It was abnormal when I came back late before. Dan Jiahao's face darkened. You are abnormal far more than normal. Yes, yes, yes. Where is Guagua? Where is Sister Shuang? Qin Wan was stunned. She felt that the atmosphere was a bit strange. Where is Su Yun? Dan Jiahao did not know how to answer. He hurriedly pulled LV Wenyi over. Sister Wan, you ask her. She knows. LV Wenyi really wanted to slap him. How could a man like him not have any sense of responsibility? He actually pushed everything to her. This was too much. Sister Wan, today, everyone seems to have something to do. Qin Wan opened her eyes wide. What can happen to them? They all went out for dinner? It's like this. It seems that Guagua's class teacher gave Guagua a buffet voucher. Then, Sister Cho Yun took Guagua to the buffet. That place is quite expensive. It would be a waste not to go. LV Wenyi explained. Then, Brother Yun and Sister Shuang went to the Western restaurant next door. I heard that Guagua ordered a candlelight dinner for them. Dan Jiahao secretly touched LV Wenyi with his foot behind her. Damn, why did you say it so clearly? A candlelight dinner? Wasn't that just provoking Qin Wan? After saying that, LV Wenyi seemed to realize that her words were a bit too clear. She hurriedly explained, Western food. Haha, it's French food or something. Sister Wan, don't think too much about it. Qin Wan clicked her tongue and said, what can I think? It must be a candlelight dinner. If it was a gathering, even if Su Yun, that heartless guy, forgot about me, Sister Frost would not forget about me. Obviously, it was just the two of them. Dan Jiahao and LV Wenyi didn't say anything. Seeing that Qin Wan wasn't disappointed, they relaxed a lot. Have you two eaten? Qin Wan asked casually. The two of them nodded in unison. We just had our work meal. Then, LV Wenyi said, Sister Wan what do you want to eat? I'll tell Brother Shanzi and ask him to make it for you. No need, I'll just eat whatever I want. You guys go about your business. Don't worry about me. Qin Wan thought for a while and said, It's getting colder and colder now. Is there no place to eat barbecue? Are they still doing it? Qin Wan didn't care about what to eat. She wanted to know if there was still a barbecue business. Of course. Dan Jiahao nodded. There are a lot of people renting houses there, and a lot of people eating barbecue skewers. They almost have to work until the new year before going into hibernation. Who would say no to money? Qin Wan nodded thoughtfully. It sounded good. Then she would go there and eat. Okay, you go do your work. I'll go and try it before they go into hibernation. Dan Jiahao was a little greedy after hearing that. If it were in the past, he would probably have called a few buddies to have a big meal at this time. However, Dan Jiahao and a few of his best buddies were already under the command of this hotel. Let alone drinking beer and eating barbecued meat, they would eat whatever was served at work every day. No one said a word of no. They were all as obedient as little kittens. No one saw anyone clamoring to eat at the street stalls. Chin Wan hadn't felt like this for a long time. She took a taxi to the barbecue stall at the night market alone. After ordering some barbecue lamb and barbecue fish, Chin Wan couldn't help but look at the stack of beer boxes next to the stall owner. "Boss, give me 2 bottles of beer." Chin Wan really hadn't drunk by herself before. When she opened her mouth, she was shocked by herself. The stall owner grinned and directly carried a box of beer over. That was what all the stall owners did. "First, I'll give you a box. You can drink as much as you want. I'm afraid that I won't be able to take care of you when I'm busy later. You can eat and drink until you're full. Even if you only drink 1 bottle, the rest is still mine." The stall owners were all like this. No matter how many bottles people wanted, they would throw a box to them first. Often, people who ate barbecue didn't even count the number of bottles they drank. They would really drink as they drank. This was also a sign that they were good at doing business. They were not afraid that you wouldn't pay. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Chin Wan didn't mind a box. It felt good to eat barbecue alone. Chin Wan opened a bottle of beer and looked at the gradually darkening night and the dim yellow light bulb on the barbecue grill. From time to time, Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang would appear in her mind. What was she thinking? Chin Wan was stunned. She raised her head and drank a glass of beer. Although it was a normal temperature beer, drinking it in this weather still made her shiver. Her stomach was quite cold. In today's society, what can you eat with 100 yuan? You can't even eat a fart. There were a few people sitting at the table next to her. They were drinking and chatting. "That day, I went to eat seafood with my wife. Guess how much it cost for 1 person? 100 yuan. That's right. 100 yuan. How many lottery tickets can you buy now?" The person next to him also said, 100 yuan. Chin Wan was stunned. She had known Su Yun for almost 100 days. She remembered that Ruan Qingxuang had told her that she and Su Yun had known each other for only 2 or 3 days. Could it be that today was their 100th day anniversary? Guagua, this little girl, was really attentive. It seemed like this little girl still doted on her mother a little more. Chin Wan had nothing to be jealous of because Guagua was adopted by Ruan Qingxuang. It was understandable that Guagua loved her so much. This showed that Guagua was a kind child. While eating barbecue and drinking beer, Su Yun's sloppy and evil smile always appeared in Chin Wan-er's mind from time to time. Every time, Chin Wan-er hurriedly poured a whole glass of beer into her mouth. It seemed that this was the only way to suppress Su Yun running around in her mind. However, she could not suppress it for more than a minute each time. Su Yun appeared in Chin Wan-er's mind more and more frequently. Chin Wan-er rubbed her head hard. "What's wrong with me? No, I have to completely drown Su Yun in my mind with beer." Unconsciously, Chin Wan-er found that the box of 12 bottles of beer beside her had all been drunk by her. Chin Wan-er had never thought that she could drink so much beer. After realizing that she had drunk so much beer, Chin Wan-er felt dizzy. Looking at the time, it was already so late. She had been sitting in the barbecue stall for more than 2 hours, but she felt as if she had just been there for a while. A gust of wind blew, and Chin Wan-er suddenly felt dizzy. Drinking was really slow. Once she realized that she had drunk too much, it was definitely too late. Just as Chin Wan-er was about to stand up and pay the bill, 2 bottles of beer were placed in front of her. A rude and unreasonable man with a flat-top haircut and eyebrows suddenly sat in front of Chin Wan-er. "Beauty, you seem to be a good drinker. Are you out of beer? I'll treat you. Let's have a drink." Then, the rude and unreasonable man picked up one of the bottles and shook it. Seeing that Chin Wan-er did not respond, the man sneered. "What, Beauty? You don't want to give me face?" While they were talking, 2 young men stood up and blocked Chin Wan-er. "Our boss is treating you to a drink. Don't be so shameless." As Dan Jiahao said, there were not many old residents in this tube-shaped apartment. Most of the apartments were rented by outsiders. These three people's accents were obviously not from Hadong, and they lived here. If they were local gangsters, how could they not know Qin Wan police officer Qin? How could it be that the evil forces like the Fourth Wolf Gang and the Knife and Axe Gang were all brought down by Qin Wan? Although Qin Wan-er's mind was muddled, she still had the basic ability to make deductions. Since these two people were not local gangsters, with her keen sense as a police officer, she could basically judge that these three people must have committed a crime in their own place and ran out to hide in Hadong City. "You want me to drink with you?" "Sure." "Who are you? If you are a gangster, why should I drink with you?" Qin Wan snorted. Her cold temperament was not inferior to an iceberg. The crew-cut man grinned and laughed. "I'm not the kind of hooligan you're talking about. All I did was play with two female students, and the police are chasing after me. I had no choice but to come to this broken place to hide. What's the saying again? If the tiger returns to the mountain one day, I'll dye half the sky red with blood." Qin Wan did not say anything. She reached out and picked up the beer on the table. The crew-cut man was happy when he saw it. He directly drank the beer in his hand until it was empty. However, no one expected that after the crew-cut man drank all the beer, Qin Wan would take the beer in her hand and smash it on his head. At the same time, she shouted, "I am a police officer." However, the brute with a flat-top haircut reacted quickly. He snatched the bottle from Qin Wan-er's hand and stood up to kick over the table. F***CK. Police, right? I have never played with a policewoman in my life. Today, I will try it. Chapter 330. After enjoying the candlelight dinner, Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang took a leisurely walk back. Just as they reached the entrance of the hotel, Su Yun received a call from Cho Yun, saying that Guagua ate too much and was full. She had to move around outside for a while before going back. Su Yun knew very well that Guagua wanted to give him and Ruan Qingxuang more private space. She was smart. The two of them had just returned to the hotel when Dan Jiahao ran over. "Brother Yun, Sister Shuang, how was the candlelight dinner?" I won't hide it from you. I really like Wenny. I was wondering if Sister Shuang could arrange for us to rest on the same day next week. I'll take her too. Hee. Let's try it. Ruan Qingxuang shook her head. It's troublesome and awkward to eat. There are so many things to pay attention to. It's also ridiculously expensive. I suggest you go somewhere else. Why? Dan Jiahao had never eaten French cuisine before, so he was very curious. When he heard what Ruan Qingxuang said, his mind became even more confused. However, his curiosity grew. Is it bad? Su Yun smiled slightly. Don't listen to your sister Shuang. The environment is really good and the taste is okay. Since you're chasing a girl, of course you have to spend some money. It's not too much to eat something good. Go, I support you. However, I don't want to give you a raise. You should think about your own wallet. Dan Jiahao slapped his thigh. Brother Yun, I definitely can't afford to book the restaurant. I just want to book a table and let you eat. How much would that cost? I don't know. Su Yun shook his head. Guagua booked it. You can ask Guagua later. Ruan Qingxuang stuck out her tongue. I know. I secretly asked the waiter. Su Yun and Dan Jiahao were both curious. How much? What candlelight dinner set A? It's 3,866 yuan, Ruan Qingxuang said while thinking that Guagua was really extravagant and wasteful. Dan Jiahao's mouth was contorted. Oh my God! Isn't this society developing too quickly? How could there be something so expensive in Hadong? I always thought that the price of our medicinal cuisine is 33 yuan per person, but I didn't expect that the candlelight dinner next door costs 1,933 yuan per person. Our pot base is only a fraction of their cost. Sister Shuang, the price of the pot base has to increase. It's at least 48 yuan per person. Su Yun knew that although Dan Jiahao said so, his heart was bleeding. A candlelight dinner cost nearly 4,000 yuan. Although Dan Jiahao's brother, Dan Hongning, also had some money, and he wasn't the kind of person who was poor, with his character, he wouldn't stretch out his hand to ask his brother for a penny. His monthly salary of 3,000 yuan wasn't even enough for a meal. Jiahao, if you don't have enough money, Sister Shuang can lend it to you. Ruan Qingshuang was quite fond of Dan Jiahao and LV Wenny. One was 18 and the other was 21. As the saying went, a woman 3 years older than Dan Jiahao would have a golden brick. LV Wenny was 3 years older than Dan Jiahao. The two children were good in all aspects and looked quite compatible. Ruan Qingshuang naturally hoped that they would become a couple. Dan Jiahao was stubborn. No. Sister Shuang, I have. If I don't have this much money, how can I be in a relationship? Ruan Qingshuang smiled. Then Sister Shuang will support you mentally, but let me warn you first. If you don't date with marriage as your goal, you are acting like a hooligan. You have to think carefully. Otherwise, everyone is watching. If you really break Wenny's heart, don't blame me for being rude. I promise I will get married once I'm of age. I will be good to Wenny for the rest of my life. Dan Jiahao had a glib tongue. Anyway, LV Wenny said that she had something to do at home and went home early. He wasn't afraid of being hit on the head. Oh, by the way, did Warner come back? Ruan Qingshuang asked casually. This question really stumped Dan Jiahao. He finally understood why LV Wenny went home early today. It must be because she didn't know how to answer this question. Unfortunately, he couldn't go home early. This question really stumped him. Su Yun saw that something was wrong with Dan Jiahao. What's so hard to answer? She must have come back. Did she come back and go out again? Suddenly, the attentive Ruan Qingshuang exclaimed, could it be that Wan didn't work overtime today? Was she preparing to come back for dinner, but found out that we weren't at the hotel? Did she know that I knew that Su Yun and I went there to eat that candlelight dinner? Dan Jiahao didn't dare to lie. He pursed his lips and nodded. When he told Sister Wan, you're a man. Don't push everything to the girl. You still want to chase her. Can't you take the blame for her? Su Yun lightly punched him on the shoulder. It's not a big deal. Do you know where Wan went? She said she wanted to eat barbecue, so I introduced her to the barbecue stand in the small square in the south. Dan Jiahao pointed with his finger. Su Yun was stunned. Eat barbecue? Although the weather in November wasn't particularly cold, it wasn't a good time to eat barbecue, right? When the north wind blew at night, the temperature would definitely be chilly. Ruan Qingshuang thought for a while. She seemed to remember the exact location of the barbecue stand. She opened her eyes wide and said, Why did you let Warner go there? When I first came to Hadong City, I rented an apartment in the tube-shaped apartment across the square. That place isn't safe. At that time, I moved away because that place actually caught a murderer from another place. Also, there are a lot of hooligans there. Dan Jiahao laughed. Sister Wan is a police officer. Hee, no one dares to touch a police officer. Besides, with Sister Wan-er's fame now, there aren't many hooligans who haven't heard of her. No one dares to touch her. No, I'm still worried. Ruan Qingshuang frowned. Su Yun, I'm worried about Wan. It's so cold, and she's eating barbecue alone. What is she thinking? Su Yun smiled. She must be thinking of having a drink by herself. It's late, and it's a little windy. Sister Shuang, find me her clothes. I'll go take a look. It's already so late, and she hasn't finished eating yet. I'm a little worried. There were some things that Su Yun couldn't say. Even if Qin Wana was a police officer, in Su Yun's eyes, she was just a big-breasted but brainless police officer. Sometimes, she was too idealistic and impulsive. Her sense of justice would always make her do some irrational things. So, Su Yun had good reasons to be worried about her. Then I'll go with you, Ruan Qingshuang said. Su Yun waved his hand. No, I'll go alone. You wait for Guagua at home. Maybe Guagua will come back soon. If she can't find us when she comes back, no one can stop her if she talks nonsense again. Ruan Qingxuang thought about it and agreed. Guagua and Chou Yun were together. If she came back and didn't see them, she would talk nonsense again. It would definitely make Chou Yun uncomfortable. So, Ruan Qingxuang took off her coat and handed it to Su Yun. Then you go quickly. Take it and let her wear it first. Su Yun didn't hesitate. He nodded and took it. Then, he turned and walked out. There were 2 traffic lights and a turn to get to the hotel. Su Yun walked quickly. It didn't matter if he ran at night. After all, the closer he got to the hotel, the fewer people there were. About 5 minutes later, Su Yun arrived at the barbecue stall. The messy scene in front of him really shocked him. The barbecue stall had more than 20 tables that were in a mess. Broken wine bottles, glasses, and barbecue skewers were everywhere. 2 young men with bruises on their faces were lying on the ground, groaning. And Qin Weiner was being held by the neck by a barbarian man with a flat-top haircut. It looked like he was going to strangle Qin Weiner to death. The barbarian man with a flat-top haircut stared at her and said viciously, "If I don't kill you today, you be *tch, my life will be in vain. You want to fight with me? So what if you are a policeman? If I was afraid of the police, I wouldn't have killed someone and come to Hadong. I'll strangle you to death." Even if Qin Wan took time to practice close combat every day, she still couldn't compete with the 3 men. Since ancient times, men were stronger than women. It was an unchanging law that men were stronger than women. Although today's society didn't lack tomboys and tomboys, men's bones and strength were naturally stronger than women's. Just when the barbarian man with a flat-top haircut was about to kill her, he suddenly felt a gust of cold wind. The whole table hit him hard on the back. The barbarian man with a flat-top haircut was in pain and had to let go of Qin Weiner. Qin Weiner was finally able to breathe oxygen. Even though she was coughing badly, she still greedily took in big breaths. The alcohol and lack of oxygen made her physically weak. It was even difficult for her to stand. The barbarian man with a flat-top haircut turned around angrily and shouted angrily, "Who the *CK dares to attack me?" "It's me," Su Yun answered calmly. He never thought that when he saw someone bully Qin Weiner like that, he would want to kill her. But there were too many onlookers around. Su Yun didn't want to bring trouble to Qin Weiner, so he didn't really attack her. He just picked up a broken table and kicked it over. When the barbarian man with a flat-top haircut saw that this young man was so thin and weak, he was furious and wanted to kill him. Anyway, he was just a fugitive. Killing 1 or 2 more people didn't make any difference to him. "I'm going to kill you." The barbarian man with a flat-top haircut suddenly strode forward and hit Su Yun with his hammer-sized fist. Su Yun didn't want to dodge at all. Many onlookers couldn't help but close their eyes. No one wanted to see this brave young man get smashed into meat paste. Just as the fist was about to hit him, Su Yun took a horse stance with his right leg and shrugged his right shoulder. His right fist spun out like a bullet. Fist to fist, it met the barbarian's fist head-on. A burst of hair-raising cracking sound drilled into everyone's ears. Just as everyone was praying for Su Yun, the barbarian man with a flat-top haircut howled and held his right fist, which had been shattered. Then, Su Yun raised his knee and kicked the barbarian man's waist, making him kneel down. Su Yun's knee, which was like an arrow, hit the barbarian man's face like a meteorite falling from the sky. Chapter 331. Have you seen enough? Get out of here. Following Su Yun's shout, the crowd dispersed. Just now, everyone had seen the fierceness of the crew-cut brute, so they naturally felt a chill in their hearts towards Su Yun, who could kill him in an instant. No one dared to offend this person who was comparable to a butcher when it came to fighting. Su Yun was not a hot-tempered person, but when Qin Wana was besieged by 3 people, no one dared to help her. Therefore, Su Yun was very angry with these onlookers. It was impossible to say that they didn't have the guts. Real cowards wouldn't even dare to watch such a show. However, anyone who dared to watch the show wasn't born with the guts of a mouse. The only reason they didn't help was because they didn't want to get burned. In the Hua Xia society, this kind of atmosphere was indeed quite a failure. However, from ancient times to the present, this kind of atmosphere had been continued for thousands of years. Moreover, in any place, in any situation, there were far more people who watched the scene than those who dared to stand up for the injustice. In the cool night wind, Qin Warner was obviously like a parasol leaf, about to fall. Under the influence of alcohol, she did not seem to know what had just happened. She was directly wrapped in clothes by Su Yun and carried on his back without saying anything. The barbecue stall owner stared at Su Yun with his eyes wide open, and his hands were trembling. When Su Yun's sharp eyes swept over, the barbecue stall owner nervously said, I called the police, but the police did not come. I also wanted to help, but I was really... The police did not come? Su Yun did not mean to blame the barbecue stall owner. He was disgusted by the efficiency of the police. You can't blame the police, comrade, because there are often people who drink too much and make trouble here. Many times, the police came, and the troublemakers ran away. We are afraid of offending people like that, so we dare not speak carelessly. Therefore, the police came in vain. An old lady who was squatting in front of a meat pot was responsible for skewering the meat. She sighed and said, We are unlucky to encounter this kind of thing. Young man, I know this girl is your friend. You can't blame us for this. This girl drank too much alone. The barbecue stall owner frowned and said impatiently, Mom, what are you talking about? Why do you have so much to say? He was afraid that his mother's words would offend someone. Su Yun looked at the old man's weathered hands. It was already so bad, but he still wanted to barbecue meat with his son outside. It seemed that it was not easy. As long as they could really make some money, who would do an open-air street stall business in this northwest wind? Su Yun turned back to look at the mess. She was afraid that many people who came to eat skewers today had run away without paying, right? How much is her meal? Su Yun said as he took out his wallet with one hand. No more. The barbecue stall owner was clearly a little afraid of Su Yun because Su Yun's attack just now was too fierce. The old man didn't stand on ceremony. I'll round it off and round it to 100 yuan. A case of beer is 60 renminbi, and the kebabs are 45 renminbi. It's all written on the list. The barbecue stall owner was obviously convinced by his mother's fearless spirit. Su Yun took out more than 2,000 yuan from his wallet and stuffed it directly into the barbecue stall owner's hands. The barbecue stall owner was so shocked that he didn't come to his senses for a long time. When he came to his senses, he found that there were more than 2,000 yuan in his hand. His jaw dropped. I know that the rest may not be enough to compensate for your loss, but I only brought this much. If it's not enough, I'll send more tomorrow. Su Yun pointed to the north. That medicinal cuisine hotel is mine. You can go there and get it from me. The barbecue stall owner was so shocked that he almost squatted on the ground. Who didn't know that the medicinal cuisine hotel was the hotel of the #1 person in Hadong Road? Was this extraordinary young man in front of him the legendary Su Yun? There were all kinds of people eating barbecue at his stall, so the barbecue stall owner heard all kinds of news every day. That was why he knew about Su Yun and the medicinal cuisine hotel. He didn't expect to see Su Yun, who was the most talked about hoodlums in Hadong Road these days, in real life today. No, I can't take this money. The barbecue stall owner hurriedly pushed the money back after thinking it through. Of course, Su Yun wouldn't take it back. He said indifferently, It's not easy for old people. It's getting cold. Buy more clothes for old people. The barbecue stall owner looked up at Su Yun. She didn't expect this young man to be so concerned about people at the bottom of society when she was so cold to him. Many people said that barbecue made money, but it was them who made money. Their family didn't make much money. Every year, after deducting the losses caused by accidents and the protection fees from the hoodlums, they barely had enough to eat and wear. If they could save some money for the new year, they would have stopped long ago. There weren't many people who still came out to eat barbecue in this month. They opened their stall to make some money for the new year. The barbecue stall owner was touched by Su Yun. Call the police later. Tell them that the troublemaker was subdued by Officer Chin from the Criminal Investigation Department of the Municipal Bureau. Ask them to take him away, Su Yun said indifferently. At that moment, the two young men who had been knocked down by Chin Wan struggled to stand up. One of them grabbed a bunch of meat skewers, shouted, and rushed over to Su Yun. Su Yun turned around and grabbed the young man's wrist. Dan Jiahao asked weakly, how could she be so drunk? Su Yun sighed helplessly. Isn't this all thanks to you and Wenny? If I knew earlier, I would have told you not to talk about where Sister Shuang and I went. Dan Jiahao scratched his head innocently. Brother Yun, I swear, I really didn't expect Sister Wana to care so much. When she said that she went out to eat skewers, I saw that she was quite relaxed. She didn't feel jealous at all. Oh, my brain. It's my fault that my observation skills are too weak. Okay, it's not your fault. Do you have a cigarette? Take one. Su Yun also had a headache. How could he face their feelings? Dan Jiahao hurriedly took out a cigarette and a lighter from his pocket, but before Su Yun took it, Guagua snatched it away. Smoking away worries makes you even more worried. Dad, let's go. I have something to ask you. Then, Guagua pulled Su Yun upstairs. Hurry up. Su Yun couldn't do anything to this little demon, so he just went. Brother Yun, take care. Dan Jiahao held a cigarette in his left hand and a lighter in his right hand, waving at Su Yun. Su Yun followed behind Guagua and asked, What do you want to ask me? Guagua, Dad is a little tired today. Why don't we talk about it tomorrow? Guagua said with a serious face, That won't do. If we talk about it tomorrow, I might forget what I want to ask tomorrow. Chapter 332. What about a candlelight dinner? Guagua raised her pink face, her eyes filled with anticipation. Isn't it great? It's very romantic, right? This is a trick that I gave you with my many years of experience in soap operas. Su Yun heaved a sigh of relief. It's quite romantic, but Guagua, you have to know that Mom is a thrifty person. You spent 4,000 yuan on dinner. Mom will feel bad. 4,000 yuan? Who told you that it was 4,000 yuan? Guagua widened her eyes. I spent 30,000 yuan. If I booked all the 8 tables on the second floor, I would have to spend 75% of the value of the set meal I ordered on average. I even tipped them and told them to serve me well. Su Yun thought for a moment. It was better not to tell Guagua and the others that a waiter was useless. This money is my private money. I'm not spending it recklessly. Guagua pouted. I just want to thank Mom and Dad for taking care of me for so many days. As she spoke, Guagua's small eyes became a little red. Su Yun couldn't help but want to laugh at her small appearance. He was also moved. The most innocent side of a child was shown in this kind of place. Although Guagua was sometimes like a demon, in the end, she was still just a child. Dad, do you know that what Guagua said in Suong was the truth? You and Mom are the closest people to me. Guagua raised her big watery eyes and said, When I could remember, I only had Grandpa and Sister Cho Yun. Guagua never knew that she had parents. All of them said that my parents had gone far away and had to complete something very important before coming back to see me. At first, I believed them, but after a long time, I knew that they were lying to me. Su Yun saw that Guagua's eyes were filled with tears. He couldn't bear to let her continue talking about this topic. My friends also have times when their parents are not around, but they always come back every New Year, but Guagua's parents have never come back. Grandpa said it was because they were too busy overseas and didn't have time. Guagua lowered her head and continued, Every year, they would send me gifts. At first, I was very happy, but later, I learned English for children and realized that the English words on all the gift labels were made by Hua Xia. Guagua, Daddy is here. Daddy will buy you presents every year, okay? Su Yun could imagine that a happy-go-lucky person like Guagua would still be able to laugh and laugh most of the time even though her family had been wiped out. She could definitely be described as heartless. But now, she lowered her head, not wanting Su Yun to see her sad expression. This really hurt the deepest part of her heart. Guagua suddenly raised her head again, grinning stubbornly. She held back her tears and said firmly, "Guagua doesn't want any gifts. Guagua just wants you all to be by my side. Guagua only asks that you don't leave me. Guagua doesn't want anything else. Guagua doesn't need to live in a big house, doesn't need to eat good food, doesn't need to go to an aristocratic school, but I can't lose you all. Woo, woo." Guagua, who was so strong that Su Yun secretly called her a tough woman, actually shed such sad tears. Su Yun was really a little flustered. He had never learned how to coax a child, so he panicked at once. "Of course, Daddy will promise you. Even if Guagua doesn't want me anymore, I will still pester Guagua to be Daddy. Good girl, don't cry. Daddy will be heartbroken if you cry." If one were to say that this little girl's face was like the sky in June, it was truly a vivid description. When Guagua, who was just about to cry, heard this, her expression immediately changed. She looked at Su Yun expectantly and smiled through her tears. Su Yun suspected that this girl was deliberately pranking him. "Daddy, how far have you and Mommy developed today?" Guagua asked curiously. "Did you confess when you two were eating?" "Pfft. Confess my ass." Su Yun almost vomited blood. "Do you think this is an urban romance drama? Do you still need to make a solemn vow between a man and a woman?" There were some words that Su Yun really couldn't say. After all, the environment he had been in for so many years was not a place that could make him feel mushy. Although heroes also had tender feelings, it was more or less awkward for Su Yun. Looking at Su Yun's expression, Guagua was speechless. She shook her head and sighed. She continued to ask, "Did you two kiss?" The environment on the second floor of the Western restaurant was so warm, the piano was elegant, and the atmosphere was romantic. Wow, if there was a boy who was so romantic to me, then I definitely couldn't control my heart. Su Yun still shook his head. "Kiss my ass." In the four corners of the second floor, there was a 360-degree camera in each corner. Su Yun didn't want to see his own scandal in the newspaper one day. "It can't be, right? Oh, Dad, you are too much of a failure, right?" The more Guagua thought about it, the more she felt that the 30,000 yuan was not worth it. In such a romantic environment, Su Yun didn't even complete such a simple task as a kiss. "Are you my biological father or not? If it was me, I would have already done that." Looking at Guagua's quite experienced appearance, if she wasn't only 6 or 7 years old, Su Yun would definitely believe that she was a love expert who had been in love 17 or 18 times. Su Yun was completely defeated by this girl. He shook his head and said, "We didn't even hold hands. Do you have any other questions?" "AI." Guagua covered her face with her small hands. "Dad, I am really disappointed in you. Mom is really too much. Can't she deliberately seduce you? After all this time, all my thoughts were wasted. I have nothing to say to you two." After saying that, the elevator reached the top floor. Su Yun picked her up and carried her out of the elevator. "You don't have to worry about adult matters." "Is it because you don't have enough homework?" Only then did Guagua come to a realization. She had been so focused on having fun at the buffet that she had forgotten that she still had homework to do. She struggled out of Su Yun's arms and said, "Dad, I can't waste time on you. I have to do my homework." Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yes, please don't waste time on me. This girl. Su Yun really wanted to ask God, how much did he owe her in his previous life? Just as Guagua ran to the door of the room, she turned back and looked at Su Yun. "Dad, did you know that your daughter was your lover in your previous life?" So, I am your lover in your previous life." Yes. Su Yun nodded. His smile came from the bottom of his heart. This girl was not only his lover in his previous life, but also his lover in the previous life. Otherwise, God would not arrange for her to be his daughter in this life after so many twists and turns. At this time, Ruan Qingxuang and Chou Yun also came out of Qin Wan-er's room. It seemed that they had put Qin Wan-er on the bed. No one thought that Qin Wan-er, who was usually valiant, would be unable to control herself and get drunk. "Is Wan-er okay?" Su Yun's voice was a little apologetic. Although Qin Wan-er drinking too much seemed to have nothing to do with him, the person who touched the string in Qin Wan-er's heart was ultimately Su Yun. Ruan Qingxuang shook her head. "I just let her drink water. She may still feel uncomfortable now, but she may be fine after she wakes up. I think, how about this? I will watch over her tonight. You all go and rest." "Forget it. Let me do it. Anyway, I have nothing to do tomorrow." "Su Yun, Guagua hasn't done her homework yet. You go and watch over Guagua. Let her finish her homework and go to bed early." Ruan Qingxuang wanted to say something, but seeing Su Yun's determined look, she nodded and stopped arguing with him. "In this case, I will leave it to you." After that, she looked at Chou Yun. Chou Yun also smiled at Ruan Qingxuang. "Sister Qingxuang, you go. I will help him here." "Okay." Ruan Qingxuang didn't know how to deal with this situation. Fortunately, they were here. She didn't have to be so embarrassed. She didn't know what Chou Yun was thinking when she saw Chou Yun drunk. Her woman's sixth sense told her that Chou Yun didn't just feel grateful to Su Yun. Guagua saw Ruan Qingxuang come back and hurried forward. "Mom, did Sister Wan drink too much because you went on a date with Dad?" No. Ruan Qingxuang didn't know how to answer Guagua's sudden question. "Well, Guagua, go and do your homework. It's already so late. After you finish your homework, take the time to wash up and go to bed. Then you have to answer my question first." Guagua looked at Ruan Qingxuang seriously. "Okay?" Ruan Qingxuang was stunned for a moment and nodded. "Okay, ask." "Mom, do you really like Su Yun's dad? Do you really want Guagua to have a dad?" Guagua said methodically. Ruan Qingxuang gasped. This was definitely the youngest matchmaker she had ever seen in her life. This girl really made her speechless. "Guagua, I think you should stop doing your homework. You don't have the mood to do it now. Go to bed early." Guagua stuck out her tongue. "Mom, you have to be brave to face your own feelings. Sometimes you have to be straightforward. Otherwise, you will become a woman who hates marriage in TV dramas. And Guagua really wants to have a legitimate dad." Ruan Qingxuang directly pulled Guagua to the bathroom to wash up. "Is Su Yun not legitimate enough now? Do you have to make him leave in anger before you are happy? This is not to make him angry." Guagua had a lot of ideas. Why don't you understand Guagua's thoughts? "Mom, think about it. Dad can even attract a big star like Sister Jiling. His charm value is too high. I want you to get a marriage certificate with him as soon as possible and tie him down. What if one day a scheming woman snatches him away? Where will Mom and Guagua go to cry?" Chapter 333. At that moment, Su Yun and Chou Yun were waiting outside Chou Yun's room. Su Yun always felt that Chou Yun would have something to say to him, but Chou Yun never spoke. She just looked at Su Yun quietly. Chou Yun's eyes finally moved from Su Yun to the window. Today, Guagua had talked to her a lot during dinner. Chou Yun had never thought that Ruan Qingxuang and Su Yun would be such two important people in Guagua's life. Maybe Guagua was right. Everything in Suong was gone. No matter how much she cried, in the end, what she lost was lost. She didn't want to lose anyone else. Guagua had asked Chou Yun a question many times. Did she like Su Yun or not? Chou Yun immediately denied it. She firmly told Guagua that she would never fall in love with a man in her life. She also wouldn't ask for so-called love. She only wanted Guagua to be well. Guagua, who got this answer, said that she felt very guilty. She didn't want Chou Yun to be like this all the time. She said that she was very conflicted. She didn't want to lose Chou Yun, nor did she want to lose Su Yun, nor did she want to lose Ruan Qingxuang. However, Guagua was always worried that one day, because any woman would become the other half of Su Yun's life, Ruan Qingshuang would leave her because of that. Although Guagua was young, she thought very clearly. She knew Ruan Qingshuang's personality, so she was most worried about Ruan Qingshuang. She said that she must keep Ruan Qingshuang and Su Yun by her side and never leave, because they were her parents. No one could replace them. Even if she grew up in the future and had a man as good as Su Yun to pursue her, she didn't want to leave Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang. Chou Yun never thought that Guagua's mind would become so mature after going through such a huge ordeal. Most of the time, the way she thought about things was not like a child's. The extent of her comprehensive thinking was even hard for her to imagine. For example, this time, she was willing to tell Chou Yun about the candlelight dinner she arranged for Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang, which meant that she knew from the beginning that Chou Yun would definitely understand her good intentions. Although Chou Yun had always denied her feelings for Su Yun, Guagua was not a little fool. She was very smart and wouldn't believe Chou Yun at all. However, she still did it because she knew that Chou Yun wouldn't leave her just because Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang were getting closer. Although there are some things that you didn't want to do, after all, you are responsible. Chou Yun looked out of the window and thought about a lot of things. She suddenly felt that she had lived for so many years, but in some things, she was not as good as Guagua. So tonight, I'll leave Qin Wan to you. Su Yun smiled bitterly. You should go and rest early. You still have to worry about Guagua during the day. You are tired. Just leave it to me. Anyway, she drank too much. At most, she will vomit. I'll take care of it myself. Chou Yun turned and left. Su Yun began to feel a problem. When Chou Yun was in front of him, the layer of ice around her was falling off little by little. Only when other people were present could he feel the cold iceberg that he saw at the beginning. Now, when they were alone, Chou Yun was more like a thorny rose that was about to bloom. Qin Wan was lying on the bed. She only felt that the whole space was spinning. She really didn't know that she could drink so much beer, and she really didn't know that drinking too much would make her so dizzy. However, she didn't completely lose consciousness. She vaguely remembered the three people who wanted to make trouble for her, and also remembered the sudden arrival of Su Yun. She couldn't remember the rest of the things clearly. She didn't know that she was back until Ruan Qingshuang helped her wipe her face with a cold towel. The phone in her pocket made Qin Wan have a splitting headache, but she really didn't have the strength to reach out and answer the phone. At this time, a hand reached into Qin Wan's trouser pocket and directly took out the phone. Su Yun directly picked up the phone after taking it out of Qin Wan's pocket. Hello, who is this? Hello? You? Oh, I'm sorry, I may have called the wrong number. The person on the other side of the phone heard the voice of a man answering the phone. He was embarrassed and was about to hang up the phone. If you are looking for Qin Wan, then you are right. Su Yun continued, What's the matter? The person on the other side of the phone was stunned for a moment. He knew that he didn't call the wrong number, so he asked in a somewhat impolite tone, Then who are you? Where is Section Chief Qin? Why are you holding her phone? Can't I be her boyfriend? Su Yun was annoyed by the other side's tone of a leader. You are calling my girlfriend in the middle of the night. Should I ask who you are? Oh no, I'm sorry. Section Chief Qin didn't say that she had a boyfriend. The man laughed and said, Then it's a misunderstanding. I'm sorry, brother. I thought it was a thief who stole her phone. Well, in this case, please help me pass on the message. I am the director of the Central City Police Station. We have arrested the three people. They are wanted felons who fled to our city. It's all thanks to Section Chief Qin. Please help me thank her. I will treat you two to a meal when you have time. Su Yun didn't have much reaction. He didn't want to be polite with this kind of person. Leader, if you had gone earlier after receiving the call, then Qin Wan wouldn't have to work so hard alone. We won't have a meal. If you have the time, you should educate your subordinates and improve the efficiency of work. Su Yun's words made the other side speechless. After all, he was the director of a police station. People in the station were respectful to him. People in the station were also polite to him. How could he be educated by a guy he had never met? It's getting late. Leader, you should go to bed early. Su-yun didn't give the other side a chance to speak. He said directly, we are all resting. We won't waste your phone bill. If there is a chance, we will treat you to a meal. Goodbye. See you again. Su-yun hung up the phone without waiting for him to finish. This kind of efficient director was not necessarily a person who could really do things for the people. Su-yun felt it was a waste of saliva to chat with him. It was estimated that the director would be depressed after listening to Su-yun's words. Maybe he wouldn't be able to sleep well tonight. Chin-won, you are quite lucky. You went to drink alone and caught 3 wanted felons on the way. Su-yun threw the phone on the table and sat beside Chin-won-er's bed. He said to Chin-won-er, who was lying on the bed, what did I owe you in my previous life? Why do I have to clean up your mess for you? Learn from others in the future. Be smarter. Don't rush in front of everything. You have to use your brain to do things. You are a girl. Do you have to do things with all your limbs? Even primary school students know that a mantis trying to stop a chariot is an act of overestimating oneself. You are an adult, don't you know? It seemed that Chin-won heard Su-yun's nagging. She even subconsciously kicked Su-yun and turned over. Su-yun was also helpless. Seeing her like this, she was not convinced. However, it was enough to prove that she was still very drunk. Otherwise, that kick would not have been so weak. While Su-yun was thinking, Chin-won flipped over and fell to the ground. If Su-yun hadn't been quick enough to catch her, she would have been smashed on her butt. Oh my God! Su-yun knew that he must have work to do tonight. In Chin-won-er's state, she would inevitably fall off the bed. In order to prevent Chin-won from falling, Su-yun could only use the quilt to cover one side of the bed. Then he lay down on the other side of the bed. This solved the problem of Chin-won rolling around. In the end, Su-yun couldn't hold on any longer. When Chin-won finally calmed down, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. Su-yun also fell asleep in a daze. After all, Su-yun did not have any tasks now. He also needed to have a good rest. When Su-yun opened his eyes again, the sky was already bright. Chin-won was not on the bed. After all, she slept too late last night, so she could not get up this morning. Looking at the time, it was already 8 o'clock. At this time, the others must have already woken up. Even Guagua had gone to school. Wasn't this embarrassing? Surely everyone knew that he slept in Chin-won-er's place last night. Just as Su-yun was lying on the bed feeling vexed, Ruan Qingxuang pushed open the door and came in with breakfast porridge and corn cakes. When she saw Su-yun sitting by the bed, her face was filled with surprise and excitement. She smiled and said, "You're finally awake. I thought I wouldn't be able to wake you up." Su-yun was stunned for a long time. Listening to this, Ruan Qingxuang had already come to wake him up once. But the main problem now was not that he had slept in, but that he had accidentally fallen asleep in Chin-won-er's place last night. "Sister Shuang, I was very tired last night, so I accidentally fell asleep." "Then, is Won-er okay? Is she sober? You're still worried about Won-er? You've been sleeping here for 2 days and 2 nights. That morning, when Won-er woke up, she found you lying here. Her scream woke all of us up. You, on the other hand, were completely fine and continued sleeping." Ruan Qingxuang breathed a sigh of relief. "At that time, we were all scared. We could not wake you up. Then I called Chong. Chong and the others rushed over, but they could not wake you up. Later, Dan Hongning said that you might have fallen asleep while sleepwalking, so it was better not to touch you. He went to the hospital and picked up the doctor to check on you. Guess what the doctor said?" Su-yun listened to this and felt that his experience was particularly legendary. He had slept for 2 days and 2 nights. He seemed to have never had such an experience before. But he did not feel relaxed after sleeping for 2 days and 2 nights. His body was still tense, and there was no feeling of relaxation. Chapter 334. Ruan Qingxuang put down the breakfast she had brought over. The doctor said that you were seriously exhausted. In other words, even though your body isn't tired, your mind is. That's why this happened. You didn't wake up all this time because your brain automatically protected your mind. How could there be such a thing? Was this what the expert said? That had to be it. Su Yun really didn't believe it, because he was a member of the Dragon Fury team. What kind of devilish training was that? How could Su Yun sleep for 2 days because of exhaustion? It must be known that when he was carrying out a dangerous mission in the primitive forest to steal a nuclear source base, he didn't sleep for 8 days and 8 nights. When the mission ended, he returned to the team and slept for 8 hours before continuing with his normal training. Perhaps Su Yun's sleep this time wasn't that simple. Su Yun himself was aware of the problem with his body. First of all, after entering the realm of a super expert, his strength actually increased by leaps and bounds without him even realizing it. In a situation where he didn't even realize it, his mental state broke through the first stage and directly stepped into the second stage. If this happened to anyone else, they would be wild with joy, but Su Yun didn't think so. Ever since Su Yun entered the ranks of experts, he understood the simplest and most basic principle. Even if you were a genius, if you didn't train hard and risk your life, it was absolutely impossible for you to become an expert among experts for no reason. Of all the super experts he knew, there wasn't a single one who just sat back and enjoyed the fruits of others' labor. There were many geniuses in the Dragon Brigade, or it could be said that everyone who could enter the Dragon Brigade was a genius, and the Dragon Fury team was even more so a genius among geniuses. But none of them didn't grow through devilish training. If anyone relied on their own innate talent and neglected training, they would only have the fate of being eliminated in the end. Therefore, Su Yun didn't believe that a person's strength would increase for no reason. He must have encountered something strange. And his 2 days and 2 nights of sleep definitely had an inseparable relationship with his strength increasing for no reason. Su Yun wanted to know what had happened to him. He had to get to the bottom of this. Although Su Yun was also a pharmacist, compared to the truly all-round pharmacists in the Dragon Brigade, he only had a deep understanding of pharmacology. He didn't know much about the reactions of the human body. At this time, the person Su Yun missed the most was Yu Maren. Perhaps only she could solve his doubts and the mystery of his rapid growth in strength. Su Yun secretly tried to circulate his true qi a few times. This was not the kind of false qi that he had imagined. Instead, his mental state had indeed improved. Could it be that his body was unable to withstand such a rapid increase in strength, which caused Su Yun to lack energy and sleep for 2 days? The world was so big that nothing was too strange. Right now, Su Yun felt that any answer he received was possible. The doctor told me to try waking you up every morning. He said that you might be unconscious for 3 to 4 days. I know that your body is better than others, so I came today to see if I could wake you up. But I didn't expect you to wake up on your own. Ruan Qingxuang muttered to herself. However, it was obvious that she was very happy that Su Yun could wake up. You haven't eaten for 2 days. Hurry up and eat something. I made some corn cakes and rice porridge. Right now, it's not suitable for you to eat anything that's too oily. When Ruan Qingxuang said this, Su Yun felt his stomach rumble. After all, he hadn't eaten for 2 days and 2 nights. He was really hungry. Thinking of this, Su Yun didn't care about his image anymore. He directly picked up the rice porridge and gulped it down. The corn cakes baked by Ruan Qingxuang were also very delicious. Slow down. No one's fighting with you. Don't eat so fast, Ruan Qingxuang said gently. Seeing that Su Yun was choking, she immediately poured him water to drink. After Su Yun finished all the food like a whirlwind, his whole body was wrapped in a strong sense of satisfaction. It was still the feeling of being full that made people feel good. Right, Tang Jiu called you yesterday afternoon. After I told her about your situation, she seemed to be very anxious. Ruan Qingxuang told Su Yun some things that happened in the past 2 days. Also, Uncle Qin came to see you yesterday afternoon. It seemed like there was something, but when I asked him, he didn't tell me. He said that he would talk about it after you woke up. It seems like I can't help much. Hearing this, Su Yun basically understood. It seemed that there was new progress in the artificial lake project. Otherwise, Qin Zhongming and Tang Jiu wouldn't have come to see him at the same time. They must have something important to tell him. Su Yun didn't even think about it. He immediately picked up the phone and dialed Qin Zhongming's cell phone number. After 3 rings, Qin Zhongming picked up Su Yun's phone call. Su Yun, you're awake? Uncle Qin, sorry for worrying you. I slept very well. I woke up. Su Yun smiled. Is there something wrong? Your body is now. Qin Zhongming was a little worried. Su Yun patted his chest. It's nothing. I didn't sleep well for a while, and then I accidentally fell asleep. It's embarrassing to talk about it. Uncle Qin, let's not talk about it anymore. I heard from Sister Shuang that you came to see me yesterday afternoon. Is there any new progress in the artificial river project? Qin Zhongming's voice soon became serious. Yes, there is indeed progress in the artificial river project, and it's not slow at all. Due to Feng Guoqing's pressure, the artificial river project will be officially held at the city's exhibition center at 10 o'clock this morning. This was a last-minute decision the day before yesterday. It was notified yesterday. Everyone who is interested in bidding has been notified. If they don't show up at 10 o'clock this morning, it's equivalent to giving up. What the F***ck? Are you serious? So suddenly, Feng Guoqing really treated all this as his own game. It was a misfortune for Hadong City to have such a person as the municipal party secretary. Has Tang Group received the notice as well? Su Yun was now concerned about this question. He looked at the time. It was already 8 o'clock. If Tang Jiu didn't receive the notice, everything would be over. Qin Zhongming nodded and said, the Tang Group has already applied for it, so the staff will definitely be informed. I wanted to ask you yesterday because I wanted to know how the Tang Group's preparations are. I hope they can come up with a perfect plan to win this project. Let's have a win-win situation on this project. Su Yun was relieved to hear that. That meant Tang Jiu should be on her way to Hadong City. According to Tang Jiu's personality, she would arrive an hour earlier. That meant they should be arriving in Hadong City soon. Uncle Qin, I'll call President Tang now and ask her about the situation. Don't worry. Okay, I'll be at the exhibition center. I'll leave the rest to you. Qin Zhongming knew that Su Yun had woken up, so he was relieved. Even if the project wasn't as perfect as he expected, he wouldn't be upset. At least Su Yun was fine. After Su Yun hung up the phone, Ruan Qingshuang hurriedly went to find a change of clothes for Su Yun. Is there something urgent? Do you need my help? Nothing. Thank you, Sister Shuang. Su Yun took the clothes from Ruan Qingshuang and immediately called Tang Jiu. However, no one answered the call. Su Yun decisively continued to call. She didn't expect that after sleeping for 2 days, she would encounter such an urgent matter when she opened her eyes. Everything had been going smoothly before. This was a matter of great benefit to everyone. Nothing could go wrong at the last minute. Finally, on the second call, Tang Jiu picked it up. As soon as the call was connected, Su Yun heard a lot of noise. He was shocked. Could it be that what he was afraid of was happening? Did something really happen? Su Yun. You're fine? Tang Jiu was pleasantly surprised. When she called yesterday afternoon, she said that Su Yun was in a coma. She came to Hadong City to bid today and even arrived an hour earlier, just to see Su Yun. However, Tang Jiu didn't expect that when she got off the car at the north entrance of Hadong City's expressway, the road in the suburbs was blocked by a group of people in police uniforms. After asking how to get into the city, the person pointed her to a small road that led to a village. At that time, Tang Jiu didn't think much of it. She was just in a hurry, so she ordered the driver to follow the direction. This time, Tang Jiu took this matter seriously. 4 cars of people came. In the front was a Volkswagen multipurpose business car. Including the driver, there were 7 bodyguards. After all, Tang Jiu was coming personally. Safety was very important to Tang Jiu. Behind the Volkswagen multipurpose was Tang Xiaofeng's Porsche Cayenne. He and Tang Yifei were the representatives of the younger generation of the Tang family. It was understandable that they followed Tang Jiu. Obviously, it was Tang Zhenfeng and Tang Songgua's idea to let them participate in the most important project of Tang Holdings. Behind them was Tang Jiu, his chauffeur, and his secretary in a brand new Jaguar XJL luxury car. Following closely behind was a Toyota Provia commercial vehicle. The three project managers of Tang Core and their most capable assistants sat in the car. All of them had a lot of experience. Therefore, Tang Holdings came this time full of confidence. They wouldn't give up until they achieved their goal. However, no one expected that Tang Holdings would be ruthlessly attacked as soon as they arrived in Hadong City. Just as the four cars drove into the village that led to the city, they ran into people blocking the way. When the bodyguards in the first car realized that something was wrong, they wanted everyone to retreat. However, they were blocked by people behind them. Chapter 335. The 7 bodyguards in the Volkswagen Metro could be considered to be extraordinary bodyguards. Seeing the situation, they quickly got out of the car and formed a protective formation. After all, the Tang Group was not a small company. Just by looking at the clothes of these 7 bodyguards, it could be seen that they were all capable. The 7 of them were all dressed in the same way. They wore light all-weather assault windbreakers, tactical special service pants, and light assault high boots. The Falcon Big Dipper satellite watch on their wrists, the German bulletproof glasses on their eyes, and the Black Eagle thumb ring gloves on their hands were all of the same standard equipment. In an instant, everyone threw out the tempered black Bornovi defensive batons in their hands. It was definitely quite a shocking sight to behold. The 7 bodyguards were carefully selected by the Tang Group. They were either from the Special Forces or the Army. Each of them was strong and skilled. Therefore, Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng, who were in the Cayenne, did not take it to heart. They both believed in the strength of the bodyguards they brought. Although they could not say that one of them could defeat 100 people, it should not be a big problem for them to deal with 20 or 30 people. During this chaos, Su Yun called Tang Jiu. Tang Jiu's bag and phone were in the hands of his secretary, who was sitting in the passenger seat. The secretary, Pan Fei, had never experienced this kind of situation before. She was a little scared and did not react for a while. Therefore, she did not hear the phone, which had been set to vibrate, ring. Originally, Tang Jiu thought that the 7 bodyguards of the Tang Group were enough to deal with these small skirmishes. However, he did not expect a gunshot to ring out. This time, Tang Jiu and the 2 young masters in the Cayenne were stunned. Wasn't this too exaggerated? How dare they fire a gun in broad daylight? How lawless was Hadong City? After the gunshot, everyone calmed down. The 7 bodyguards who were armed with self-defense batons were also stunned. This was definitely not a small matter. The other party had opened fire as soon as they came up to show off their strength. This gave them no chance to make a move at all. They had too many considerations. At this time, Tang Jiu also calmed down. Soon, he heard the phone vibrate. This was the second call from Su Yun. When the secretary handed the phone over, Tang Jiu did not expect it to be Su Yun calling. To be honest, the moment she picked up the phone, she even forgot that she was in danger. She was more concerned about Su Yun's situation. "Of course I'm fine." Su Yun smiled and said, "How are you? Are you almost there? Do you want me to prepare and wait for you at the exhibition center?" Tang Jiu only then did he come back to his senses. He had important things to do in Hadong City. Now that he was blocked in the countryside, what should he do? People who dared to do such a thing were usually local bullies. Thinking of this, Tang Jiu relaxed a little. Maybe Su Yun knew these people. I just got off the North Expressway in Hadong City, but I ran into some trouble. Some people disguised themselves as policemen and blocked the road. They guided us to the village south of the expressway. Then, we were blocked. Tang Jiu calmly explained to Su Yun, they had guns. "Do these people have anything to do with you?" Su Yun's face changed. It shouldn't be. His people were all led by Chong Zi and the 3 tigers of Southern City. He had clearly warned them not to let him know that they had such illegal things in their hands. Once he found out, he would not let them off easily. Therefore, Su Yun believed that it should not be them. Moreover, something had just happened, so they should not dare to act rashly. Thinking of this, Su Yun was at a loss. Could it be that these people were not from Hadong City at all? Tang Jiu, you have to stay calm. I will get to you as fast as I can. Don't have a direct confrontation with them. Su Yun was worried that the other party was someone who had fought with the Southern Tigers not long ago, so he was worried that they would really shoot. Remember my words. Don't argue with them. Tang Jiu could hear that Su Yun's voice was very nervous, so she nodded very seriously. Okay. I'll wait for you. After Su Yun hung up, the Southern Tigers and Chong came. They were also worried about Su Yun. Ever since they knew that Su Yun had fainted, Chong had not slept well for the past 2 days. Every morning, the first thing he and the Southern Tigers did was go straight to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel after breakfast to see if Brother Yun had woken up. Today, they were really shocked. As soon as they came up, they heard Su Yun's voice on the phone. One by one, they rushed into the room where Su Yun was and shouted excitedly in unison, "Brother Yun!" After seeing the 4 of them, Su Yun was 100% sure that this had nothing to do with them. Before the 4 of them could calm down, Su Yun grabbed his jacket and put it on. "You guys, come with me immediately. Something happened." When the 4 of them saw this, they did not dare to ask any more questions. They immediately obeyed the order. However, Ruan Qingxuang was worried. When she heard that something had happened, her heart tightened. "Su Yun, what's wrong? What happened to Tang Jiu?" "Sister Shuang, I'll explain to you when I come back. I can't explain it in a short time. Time waits for no one." Su Yun had already walked out of the room as he spoke. Chong and the Southern Tigers followed Su Yun out and said goodbye to Ruan Qingxuang. "Sister Shuang, don't worry. We're here. We won't let anything happen to Brother Yun." With these people following, Ruan Qingxuang could indeed be more at ease. However, she was more or less concerned about Su Yun's health. However, according to Su Yun's words, Tang Jiu's situation was extremely urgent. Of course, she could not stop him. She could only blame herself for not being able to help much. After the 5 of them went downstairs, Su Yun directly got into Chong's Audi A6. "Hadong's North Expressway. Hurry!" Chong did not hesitate after receiving the order. He beautifully turned the car around and stepped on the accelerator. He did not care whether it was illegal or not. As long as it was safe enough, he stepped on the accelerator as fast as he could. Looking at Brother Yun's serious expression, Chong knew that something must have happened. The Southern Tigers also got into their own cars and followed closely behind Chong's car. Each of them was swift and decisive. They did things without any hesitation. The 5 of them rushed to the scene of the accident in 4 cars. On the way, the Southern Tigers did not forget to call their brothers. Each of the 3 of them could shout for 20 to 30 people with one call. After a few calls, they followed Chong's Audi with all their might. Chong's driving skills were honed from the almost scrapped Shinlong Buick. Therefore, he was really domineering when he rushed all the way. He only used half the time to reach the scene of the accident that would have taken more than 20 minutes. Just as Tang Jiu said, the road leading to the city was blocked by a group of uniformed police officers. However, Su Yun could tell at a glance that they were imposters wearing police uniforms. Their uniforms were obviously custom-made by a small workshop. The so-called police officers were all ruffians. They didn't feel like public servants at all. They were just hooligans trying to take over the road. Chong did a beautiful U-turn and parked the car in front of the group of imposters. Su Yun got out of the car without saying anything. At this time, the Southern Tigers' cars had also arrived at the scene. When they got out of the car, Su Yun had already kicked the roadblock that was blocking the road away. Seeing that Su Yun had already made a move, Chong's temper flared up. Without saying anything, he followed Su Yun and kicked the roadblock. The sudden appearance of the 4 cars did indeed startle the dozens of impostors who were blocking the road. However, when the Southern Tigers also got out of the car to abuse their power, the dozens of impostors finally reacted. Although the other party had 4 cars, there were only 5 of them. They calculated and realized that it was 3 against 1. That was too easy. F***CK. You F***Kers don't want to live anymore. You're obstructing us from carrying out our duties. I'll cripple you. Among the dozens of impostors, the leader finally spoke. At this time, Su Yun and Chong had already kicked the roadblock over. It smashed into the white Santana and Jetta that they drove. Su Yun sneered, "You should at least act more realistically. Do you think you're the police just because you got a few white cars? At least put on some blue, right? Little bastards, whose territory do you think this is? Where are you from?" Chong shouted angrily. He had the demeanor of a big brother. After all, he was one of Su Yun's men. Therefore, Chong was quite famous in Hadong City. He could be considered a big shot. The 3 tigers of Southern City also rubbed their fists and palms and surrounded them. Their faces looked like they were going to have a big fight. "Even if I'm not from Hadong City, I'll still trample all of you. You want to stir up trouble in front of me with just the 5 of you?" The imposter leader snorted and pointed at the dozen or so brothers beside him. "You want to fight? Why don't you take a look at your own strength?" Lu Feng clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles cracked. All of them had fought their way up to where they were now, and they had seen their fair share of battles. Therefore, they weren't afraid. Furthermore, they were well aware that the dozen or so people on the other side wouldn't even be able to touch Big Brother Yun's finger. "You want to bully us with numbers?" Kong Zhong laughed coldly. The other side thought that they were afraid, and their morale rose. "Yes, we want to bully you with numbers. What can you do?" Dan Hongning looked at the dozen or so people with a funny expression on his face. "You want to bully me with your numbers? I'm afraid you won't even be able to find your mother later." As soon as he finished speaking, 20 to 30 cars drove over in a row. The sound of the engines shocked the dozens of fake police officers. By the time they figured it out, more than 100 people had gotten out of the cars. They all respectfully shouted in unison, "Hello, Brother Yun." Su Yun smiled helplessly. He did not even need to think to know that this was a feast for the Southern Tigers. "Brothers, thank you for today's matter. Come to the hotel tonight. I'll be the host." "Okay." The deafening roar almost scared the impostors out of their wits. Just a moment ago, the leader of the fake police officers was still full of fighting spirit, but in an instant, he became a coward. His expression changed a few times before he finally stuttered, Big brother, is there some misunderstanding between us?" "Misunderstanding your sister?" Lu Feng scolded angrily and shouted at the top of his voice, "Brothers, go." This was Hadong's territory, and these bastards dared to strut around in their territory. They were courting death, and had to be beaten up. Beat them hard. Beat them to death. In an instant, more than a dozen fake policemen were completely drowned in the sea of people by the 3 tigers of South City who were whistling for their brothers. Su Yun made a prompt decision and said to Chong and the Southern Tigers, "Leave this to them. You guys come with me." Chapter 336. Tang Jiao, who was trapped in Li Jia village, was completely trapped. There were about 20 people who had tied them up. One of them was a bald man with a gold necklace and a rifle in his hand. Although the rifle was heavy and clumsy, the rifling inside the barrel gave the bullet a rotating force. Therefore, compared to a smoothbore gun, it was more accurate and more powerful. The bald man with a gold necklace stood in front of the 4 cars with a gun. Therefore, the 7 bodyguards of the Tang Corporation did not dare to act rashly. It would be a lie to say that they were not afraid. No one wanted the other party to shoot and hurt anyone. After all, if anyone in the car was hurt, they would not be able to report back. And if they hurt themselves to protect the people in the car, it did not seem worth it. Although their annual salary of 300,000 yuan was not a small amount, it was not worth it to risk their lives. Because they were all from the military or the armed police, they knew the power of the rifle very well. If they were hit by it, no one could guarantee that they would live to see the next day. In an instant, the momentum of the entire scene was in the hands of the other party. Everyone in the Tang Corporation quieted down. In particular, the 3 project managers and their respective female assistants in the last car didn't even dare to breathe loudly. According to Tang Jiu's personality, she would have gotten out of the car to argue with the other party. But fortunately, Su Yun's call made her hold back. She knew that if she was in danger, everything would be over. She had to stay in the car. She believed that Su Yun said that he would be here soon, so he would definitely come to save her. The bald man with a rifle waved his hand. Immediately, 7 people rushed towards the 7 bodyguards of the Tang Corporation. When the 7 bodyguards saw this, the bald man with a gold necklace raised the gun in his hand and shouted angrily, "I want to see who dares to move in front of me. If you want to try, I won't stop you." His angry rebuke made the 7 bodyguards of the Tang Corporation suppress their impulsive thoughts. The bald man with a gold necklace became even more arrogant when he saw this. "What I earn is blood on the blade. It's not the first time I've killed people. Come on. Whoever wants to die can try moving." Under the fierce pressure of the bald man with the golden necklace, the 7 bodyguards of the Tang group let the 7 young men take away their defensive batons from their hands. The captain of the bodyguards, Old Qian, was the leader. He only tightened his grip on the baton, and the young man who had snatched it from him stomped on his thigh. "Say something if you want to die. Don't be so King stubborn." Upon hearing this, Bald Gold Necklace aimed his gun at Old Qian. "Do you want to die?" Although Old Qian was full of anger and wanted to explode, when he thought about his wife and children at home, he finally obediently let go. This time, all 7 of them were disarmed. If they were on the battlefield, they would be captives. "Every year, I spent so much money on you for nothing." Tang Yifei cursed angrily in the car. Tang Xiaofeng was angry and scared. They had never been bullied in Jibei. He didn't expect that they would be bullied the moment they arrived in Hadong City. If they had known this, they would have brought 2 masters with them. The bodyguards of the Tang group were useless in big trouble. 7 bodyguards had been tamed by a rifle, and the rest of them could only swallow their anger. Seeing that someone came to open the car door, Tang Xiaofeng and Tang Yifei couldn't help shivering. Crack! The young man failed to open the locked car door. He raised the baton in his hand and scolded, "Get out!" Tang Xiaofeng knew very well that if he didn't take the initiative to get out, the other party would definitely smash the car and drag them out. Once they were dragged out, they would inevitably suffer. It was better to cooperate with them. Maybe they could avoid suffering. Thinking of this, Tang Xiaofeng obediently opened the car door. As he got out of the car, he shouted, "Big brother! Big brothers! Let's talk nicely. Let's talk nicely. Harmony is the most important thing." Seeing that Tang Xiaofeng got out of the car, Tang Yifei knew that he couldn't protect himself. He obediently got out of the car and cooperated. "Yes, yes, yes. Harmony is the most important thing. We are brothers everywhere. Harmony is the most important thing. Let's talk nicely. Don't King talk to me. I'm a rough man. I don't understand this." The bald gold necklace spat. Seeing these 2 cowards, he was too lazy to beat them. "What are you doing in Hadong City? Are you bidding for the artificial river project?" Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng looked at each other. Then they looked at the bald gold necklace at the same time and nodded quickly. The bald gold necklace spat. "Well, you're honest enough. Then I won't hide it from you. Now get out of here. Don't even think about this project. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you." Tang Yifei couldn't believe that a man-made river project could cause such a big commotion in a small city like Hadong. Could it be that this project really had such great benefits? Tang Xiaofeng made a prompt decision and agreed with the bald gold necklace. Okay. Big brother, we'll do whatever you say. We don't want this project. We just want to leave safely. For Tang Xiaofeng, it didn't matter whether Tang Enterprise could win this project or not. What was important was that he didn't suffer in this remote place. But Tang Zhou didn't think so. This project was very important to her. She had to win it. We're not leaving. We want this project. In the end, Tang Zhou forgot Su Yun's advice. When she heard her two brothers bowing in front of the other party and saying that they would give up the project, she opened the door and got out of the car without hesitation. The driver and the female secretary in the car were dumbfounded. Boss Tang was too desperate, wasn't she? One had to know that the other party had a gun. If this matter really got out of hand, wouldn't they all be in trouble? Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng were both shocked by Tang Zhou's words. Wasn't this just asking for the other party's anger? Baldy Gold Necklace never thought that such a girl would suddenly jump out and shout in front of him. More importantly, this girl was actually so beautiful, so beautiful. Her figure was great. Hut. Ioyo, which family's girl is this? How can she be so beautiful? The bald gold necklace didn't fly into a rage as Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng imagined. Instead, he looked at Tang Zhou with a wicked smile and saliva almost flowed out of his mouth. Tang Yifei quickly ran in front of Tang Zhou and kept winking at her. He whispered urgently, "Sister Zhou, do you want the project or your life? If you lose your life later, what's the use of the project?" Tang Xiaofeng also quickly walked to Tang Zhou's side and whispered as third brother, "Sister Zhou, let's go back. Listen to third brother on this. The other party has a gun. We don't have a chance to break through at all. Our people are all scared." Tang Zhou's voice didn't lower. "Call me Boss Tang. I said we have to win this project, so we have to win it. If you want to go back yourselves. Whoever goes back will be kicked out of the Tang group forever." When the bald gold necklace heard this, he couldn't help but sigh at this girl's fiery temper. "Oh, I was wondering why your temper is so bad. So you are the legendary beautiful chairman of the Tang group. Ha ha ha, Boss Tang, nice to meet you. I don't have time to waste on you. Do you know what you are doing? You are breaking the law." Tang Zhou coldly scolded the bald gold necklace. "You are endangering the safety of the citizens. You are threatening the safety of the citizens and possessing guns to threaten the safety of the citizens." After hearing Tang Zhou's words, the bald gold necklace's smile became even brighter. He almost laughed out loud. "Ha ha ha. Ioyo, Boss Tang, you really know how to joke. So what if I committed a crime? Arrest me? Give me a sentence. Let me tell you, today I am not only threatening the safety of the citizens, I am also threatening your chastity. Ha ha ha. I like fiery tempers." Hearing the other party's disrespectful words, Tang Zhou's face reddened in rage. "You shameless bastard. I am shameless. In the wilderness, no one will know what I do. If I dare to take this out, I dare to kill people. If I dare to kill people, I dare to play with women." The bald gold necklace spat out another mouthful of phlegm. "Today, I will let you know the dark side of society." Of course, Tang Xiaofeng and Tang Yifei couldn't let him do such a thing. They hurriedly said, Big brother, she is immature. Please don't lower yourself to her level. We will leave immediately. How about this, big brother, I will give you money. You can play with any woman you want. Please be merciful." The bald man with the golden necklace did not buy it. "I'm interested in President Tang. No woman can be more delicious than Boss Tang. Today, I will play with Boss Tang in this place. If anyone dares to say no, I will shoot him." The bald gold necklace's ruthlessness really stunned Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng. The two of them were speechless. Looking at the muzzle pointed at them, they could only try their best to move their bodies to avoid the straight line. In this situation, they could only watch Tang Zhou fend for herself. She asked for it. Who asked her not to stay in the car obediently? At most, everyone would go back with their faces covered in dirt. Things wouldn't have escalated to this point. Tang Jiu seemed to feel the danger. She was already vaguely regretting that she didn't control her personality and didn't obediently follow Su Yun's instructions to not argue with the other party. But what had happened had happened. Tang Jiu also understood that there was nothing she could do to fix it. But at the crucial moment, Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng, as her second and third brother, actually shrank their heads into their necks. It really made her heart turn cold. Chapter 337. While Tang Jiu was praying in his heart, a crazy Audi A6 in the distance treated itself as a sports car. The three SUVs behind it followed closely behind the A6 like mad bulls, stirring up clouds of gray dust behind them. There was an indescribable arrogance in their aura. The bald man's golden necklace's first reaction told him that these 4 cars were definitely not here to bid for this project. The 4 cars all had Hadong local license plates, and judging from their speed, they were obviously very familiar with the local road conditions. "Brother, what's going on?" One of the men standing next to him asked nervously. "Brother, should we? Don't cause trouble for me. The people in these cars are obviously not easy to deal with." The bald man's intuition was still very clear. "If they don't offend me, I won't offend them. If they are smart, they won't cause trouble here. It's just a matter of mind your own business. Hold it together and let them pass." While speaking, the bald man waved the rifle in his hand, more or less letting these people know that he had a weapon. If a fight really broke out, he was not afraid of them. The bald man with the gold necklace no longer looked as arrogant as before. Instead, he looked calm. Although he had a bad temper, he was still in Hadong City. He knew that a powerful dragon could not defeat a local snake. Moreover, his boss did not send him here to cause trouble. All he needed to do was to control the entrance of the Hadong Northern Expressway and ignore everything else. No matter what he did, he couldn't ruin his boss's big plan. Therefore, the bald man was very cautious when dealing with things. However, he didn't expect that even after he revealed the rifle in his hand, the 4 cars still didn't follow his plan. Instead, they stopped in front of them without hesitation. No matter how he looked at it, they seemed to have come prepared. In an instant, the bald man's men all became nervous. Were these 4 cars reinforcements? If that was really the case, then the Tang Corporation was really resourceful. The 3 tigers of the southern city got out of the car. They all noticed the rifle in the bald man's hand, and for a moment, a raging fire ignited in their hearts. Obviously, this bald man was definitely related to the person who came to Hadong City to cause trouble with them with a gun. "Friends, I'm doing something here. If I don't delay your journey, I hope you won't meddle too much." The bald man saw them get out of the car and immediately said, "It's best if we don't interfere with each other's business. Otherwise, it won't end well for anyone." The bald man could tell at a glance that the 3 tigers of the southern city were gangsters. That was why he said that. Although the 3 tigers of the southern city didn't remember this person being there when they were intercepted that day, after hearing Yi Zhong's accent, they had already made a conclusion in their hearts. They didn't expect that after those bastards had attacked them, they wanted to imitate their previous actions and directly eliminate the other competitors on the road. A group of people from Yi Zhong dared to act like a tyrant in Hadong City. If this spread out, how could the brothers of Hadong City survive? At this time, Su Yun finally walked out of Chong's car. He was already quite angry, but because Tang Jiu didn't follow his instructions to stay obediently, it was like adding fuel to the fire, and it could trigger a more violent rage at any time. Su Yun. When Tang Yifei saw Su Yun, it was like a drowning person grasping at a life-saving straw in the water. He was quite excited. After all, the local tyrant had come to help, and they now had someone to support them. Su Yun didn't pay attention to him at all, and only looked at Tang Jiu with a questioning gaze. Tang Jiu knew that her behavior was wrong, but her attitude was very, very good. She immediately apologized to Su Yun. "I'm sorry." If there weren't so many people watching, and if Tang Jiu wasn't wearing the hat of the Tang Group CEO, Su Yun would have already yelled at her. He had clearly said that she should be obedient and not confront others, and not argue with them. Just bear with it for a while and take a step back, and then everything would be fine. But Tang Jiu still couldn't bear it, and Su Yun couldn't say anything. The bald gold necklace was now certain that these people were reinforcements, and he was quite impressed. He didn't expect that the 5 of them dared to come and save people alone. They underestimated him too much. Brother Yun, that bastard has a weapon. Chong walked to Su Yun's side and whispered, maybe it's the same group of people from last time. The 3 tigers of Nanqing also surrounded Su Yun. Their thoughts were the same as Chong's. The other party was most likely from Yi Zhong's brilliant construction group. Their intention of coming here to intercept Tang Jiu was also very obvious. It was for the bidding of the project. Once they were late, they wouldn't be qualified to bid. There was only one qualified company in Hadong, but they had other projects in their hands, so they weren't qualified to bid. Therefore, blocking the way of other bidders was equivalent to smoothly winning the project. How King shameless. Lu Feng spat and cursed. How dare they come to Hadong City to pretend to be local bullies? Just thinking about it made him so angry that he wanted to skin them and pull out their tendons. Su Yun stared at Lu Feng with disappointment. Didn't I learn this from you guys? The 3 tigers of Nanqing immediately stopped talking. Now that Brother Yun was angry, anyone who didn't know better would be asking for a scolding, and they couldn't blame anyone else. The bald man with the golden necklace saw that the other party was surrounding the leader. They didn't seem to be afraid of them, especially the leader of the other party. Not only was he not afraid of them, he even felt a sense of disdain from the leader's eyes. He simply looked down on him. Boy, if you want to meddle in other people's business, you should think about your own weight. The bald gold necklace was also a little angry. He didn't understand where the other party got the courage and capital to look down on him. Even if they looked down on him, they should respect the rifle in his hand. It should be known that this bullet was enough to make the other party write a report to the King of Hell. Protect her. Su Yun whispered to Chong and the 3 tigers of Nanqing. The 4 immediately nodded heavily. Su Yun walked out from the crowd and walked towards the bald golden necklace without any hesitation. His aura was absolutely overbearing. With Tang Jiu in the lead, a few of the female secretaries and assistants who came along with the car all fell in love with him. Chong and the 3 tigers of Nanqing were more or less worried. After all, the other party had a gun in his hand, and according to the previous example, the other party really dared to shoot. Otherwise, they wouldn't have suffered such a big loss last time. Obviously, they were also very clear about Su Yun's style of doing things. Once he decided on something, they couldn't change him at all. Therefore, even if they knew that it was very dangerous, they could only watch and didn't dare to stop him. Tang Yifei and Tang Xiaofeng's thoughts were a little strange. At some point, they even stood on the bald gold necklace's side, and even hoped that the bald gold necklace would really shoot Su Yun. The 7 bodyguards of the Tang group were also shocked by Su Yun's aura. They had seen people who were not afraid of death, but they had never seen such a fearless person. F***CK. Didn't you hear my brother? When the gangster saw that Su Yun completely ignored his elder brother's words, he immediately flew into a rage. He raised the defensive baton in his hand and directly smashed it towards Su Yun's head. Looking at his fierce strength, it seemed that he wanted to smash Su Yun to death with the baton. The tempered staff whizzed through the air. Su Yun only needed to slightly tilt his body to avoid the ruthless staff that came crashing down on his face. Before the gangster realized that he had hit nothing, Su Yun's knee had already hit the gangster's chin heavily. The huge impact made the gangster's whole body flip 180 degrees in the air before falling heavily to the ground. The baton in the gangster's hand fell into Su Yun's hand unknowingly. Su Yun lowered his head and glanced at it. He snorted. German goods. As he said that, he glanced at the 7 bodyguards of the Tang group led by Old Qian. It must be your guy, right? Old Qian was really impressed. He was from the army. What kind of tough guy had he not seen before? What kind of person had he not seen before who was not afraid of death and tiredness? He had never seen someone like Su Yun. There were only 2 words. Too fierce. It's ours. How do you know? Old Chen nodded. Su Yun directly threw the baton in his hand to Old Chen. One look and you can tell that it's valuable. It's at least 1,000, right? Apart from rich and powerful corporations, who would be willing to buy this imported toy? Who else would be willing to buy it? 1,000 yuan is enough to buy 500 machetes. The bald man with the golden necklace couldn't take it anymore. He watched as Su Yun killed one of his men with a single kick and even chatted happily with the other party's bodyguard. Wasn't he looking down on him too much? Kid, open your eyes wide. No matter how powerful you are, you can't be more powerful than a gun. The bald man with the gold necklace sneered and raised the gun in his hand, aiming at Su Yun without hesitation. As long as Su Yun was so arrogant, he promised that he would kill him without hesitation. There was a saying, what was it again? Yes, kill the chicken to warn the monkey. Everyone understood the logic of killing the chicken to warn the monkey. Punishing one person was a warning to the rest. It was especially useful in any situation. Moreover, Su Yun was the leader of the other party. If he killed him with a shot, it would not be as simple as killing the chicken to warn the monkey. It would be called, to catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Once they lost their leader, the bald man with the gold necklace could still smoothly complete the task that his boss had arranged for him. Wasn't it just shooting someone? It was not like he had not done it before. There was nothing to be afraid of. The bald man with the gold necklace held the rifle in his hand and made up his mind. As long as the other party dared to be arrogant, he dared to shoot him in the chest. Chapter 338. Su Yun still didn't stop moving forward. He believed that the bald guy with the gold necklace would really shoot, but he was also very clear that if the other party opened fire, he would definitely fall into a huge panic. At that time, the other party would be completely vulnerable. The bald guy with the gold necklace really didn't expect that after he raised his gun, the other party would still walk straight towards him as if nothing had happened. In an instant, Su Yun's actions instantly pulled back the momentum of the scene that was originally one-sided. The momentum that originally belonged to the bald guy was now reversed, and the pressure instantly increased. Seeing that the situation was no longer under his control, the bald guy with the gold necklace's expression changed drastically. He knew that he had to make a decision at this time. He had to break the other party's strong momentum. Shoot! At this time, the bald guy with the gold necklace only had this thought in his mind. Su Yun clearly saw his absent-minded eyes. At this moment, Su Yun's intuition told him that the other party was about to make a move. Just a second before the bald guy raised his gun and pulled the trigger, Su Yun's phantom step allowed him to instantly appear in front of the bald guy with the gold necklace. As for the rifle, it was bent by Su Yun's powerful hand the moment he stepped forward. The bald guy with the gold necklace could no longer control his finger that was pulling the trigger. The moment the barrel was bent by Su Yun, he also pulled the trigger. A huge explosion came from the barrel of the gun, and the gold necklace with the gold necklace's thumb and index finger shook painfully. The gold necklace with the gold necklace with the gold necklace let go of the broken rifle in his hand in pain. No one present had seen this scene before, and they all stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. Su Yun directly threw the broken rifle in his hand on the hard ground of the countryside. Then he raised his hand and hooked his finger at the gold necklace. How could Baldy Gold Necklace, who had been provoked, be so angry in front of his little brother? He didn't even think about it. How could a person who could bend a pure steel gun barrel with one hand care about his fist? However, the Baldy who had swung his fist forward could no longer stop. He saw with his own eyes that his fist was caught in the other party's hand. With a snap, his fist was easily broken. Su Yun had no intention of letting go of Baldy Golden Necklace, whose right wrist was already broken. At the moment when the opponent's momentum was completely gone, what Su Yun wanted to do was to give them the most vicious blow. Without waiting for Baldy Gold Necklace to beg for mercy, Su Yun had already turned his leg and kicked him in the shin. Baldy's golden necklace was struck in the calf by Su Yun's kick. His body instantly lost its center of gravity, and his entire body suddenly leaned forward. At the same time, Su Yun's body spun. Borrowing the strength from his waist, He viciously lashed out at Baldy's thick neck with a golden necklace. This kick made Baldy Gold Necklace's body, which weighed close to 100 kilograms, spin 3 times in the air before landing heavily. The group of lackeys looked at their boss, who was like a helpless woman in front of the other party. Their eyes widened, and they even forgot to save him. Finally, when Baldy Gold Necklace fell to the ground, someone reacted and shouted angrily, "Brothers, go!" Only then did their momentum, which had been completely suppressed, increase. However, Su Yun had already turned the situation around with his own strength. This time, Old Qian, who was in charge of the bodyguard work, was also affected. He looked up to the sky and shouted, "Brothers, let's fight them!" Although the weapons in their hands had been taken away, the other party no longer had guns, so these bodyguards of the Tang group no longer had anything to worry about. In an instant, the ball of gunpowder in everyone's hearts was ignited. They would fight them even if they were bare-handed. In an instant, the whole scene was in a mess. The scuffle between 20 and 30 people made the scene extremely hot. Perhaps the bodyguards of the Tang group had been influenced by Su Yun, but none of them showed any mercy. Even if they were unarmed, they were not at a disadvantage at all. In less than 3 minutes, all of them had snatched back their weapons. After that, it became a completely one-sided situation. A group of gangsters and ruffians were smashed with broken arms and legs. They fell to the ground one after another, crying and begging for mercy. After dealing with Baldy Gold Necklace, Su Yun had not made any more moves. He calmly walked out of the chaotic group fight and said to the 3 tigers of Nanqing, "I'll leave this to you. Tell the brothers behind not to go too far." Lu Feng was the first to pat his chest and promise, "Brother Yun, don't worry. Leave it to us. We'll take care of it. You go and do your business." "Yes, Brother Yun, you go quickly." Kong Zhong also followed. At this time, the 100 brothers who had taken care of the fake policeman also drove over. The army of more than 20 cars was really arrogant. Tang Jiao and her 2 unreliable brothers were also completely stunned. It turned out that they had brought a backup army. It seemed that their safety was not a problem for this trip to Hadong. Dan Hongning said with a cheeky smile, "Brother Yun, we won't bother you about the banquet tonight. We'll take care of it ourselves outside. It's not worth it to delay the business of the hotel." After all, the standard price of a table in Hadong City Hotel was at least 800 to 900 yuan. If alcohol was included, such a group of strong young men who could drink would definitely be wasted. Therefore, Dan Hongning did not want the hotel to lose money because of such a small matter. Those underlings were very loyal to them. It would not be a problem to send them to eat at a street stall. "No, you have to come to my place tonight." Su Yun was also a man of principle. Tang Jiao also said, "Yes, all of you go to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. I'll pay the bill tonight. Today, I'll hold a celebratory banquet at the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel after we clinch this project. None of you can miss out. Also, tell all the brothers who came to help today to show up. I'll give out red packets. Everyone will get one." The great CEO of the Tang Corporation was very courageous. After all, for Tang Jiao, as long as he clinched this project today, it was not a big deal even if he had to spend 1,000,000 yuan. Hearing Tang Jiao's words, the 3 tigers of Southern City were happy. At the same time, they looked at Su Yun and thought about it carefully. They really could not accept this red packet. "It's getting late. We don't have time to waste here." Su Yun looked at the time. "We have to be at the convention center at 10. Although it's not far, there's a lot of traffic. If there's an accident and we're late, everything will be over." Tang Jiao nodded. "Okay, you coming with me?" "Okay." Su Yun nodded and patted Chong's shoulder. "Lead the way." "Okay." Chong received the order and immediately got in the car to lead the way. At this time, Tang Jiao also ordered, "Everyone get in the car. Old Qian, tell your men to follow their car closely." At this time, the 100 brothers of the 3 tigers of Southern City also came. These people were very clear about the situation. They took over the job of the 7 bodyguards of the Tang group and continued to kick the punks of Yijiang City who came from Yijiang City. Old Qian waved his hand and told everyone to get in the car. Then, he followed Chong's car closely. Tang Xiaofeng and Tang Yifei, of course, got in the car early and prepared to escape. They had long had enough of this remote place. Su Yun and Tang Jiu sat in the back seat of the car together. The driver followed the Qian in front without Tang Jiu's order. The Praval at the back also followed closely. After watching all the cars leave, the 3 tigers of Southern City continued to yell at their brothers to beat them up. Beat them to death. They wanted to let the people from Yijiang City know how powerful the local tyrants of Hadong City were. If they dared to behave atrociously in their territory, it was tantamount to courting death. More than 100 people trampled the bald man with a gold necklace and the other 20 people to death before they stopped. After fighting for so long, they were a little tired. Brothers, thank you for today's matter. I, Lu Feng, thank you on behalf of us 3 brothers and Brother Yun. Lu Feng saw that the matter was almost settled, so he said, so tonight, everyone will go to Brother Yun's Medicinal Cuisine Hotel to drink. Don't be pretentious in front of me. Everyone will go. If you have something to do, cancel it. If you don't go, you are not my brother. Dan Hongning smiled and said, whoever doesn't go is a fool. If you go, you will get a red packet. Did you hear that? You know the Tang Corporation, right? The CEO of Jibei City's Tang Corporation will personally give you red packets. Do you understand? Everyone will go. Kong Zhong was stunned. He patted Dan Hongning's shoulder and whispered, are you okay? Of course I am. If not, I will go and eat some plums. Dan Hongning said. I don't have time to chat with you. We can't accept the red packets. Do you really want us to open our hands? Kong Zhong glared. He was such a boring person. He was too serious when doing things. Although Lu Feng was puzzled, he knew that Dan Hongning wasn't someone who didn't know how to take the red packets. It wasn't that he didn't understand. He definitely wouldn't make such a low-level mistake. What are you thinking in your head? I don't believe that you really want us to accept the red packets. Accept it. If we don't accept it, we won't give face to CEO Tang. Dan Hongning still had an unpredictable smile on his face. Besides, CEO Tang doesn't care about the melons and jujubes. What he wants is face. If we refuse, where will he put his face? What Dan Hongning said made sense. But if they accepted the money, it didn't seem right. The 2 of you don't have to think too much. We have our own plans. Dan Hongning said, it's about time for us to call it a day. Our brothers did a great job today, but don't let your guard down. We don't know what else will happen today, so stay alert. Everyone, keep your phones on. If there is anything, we will contact you. Yes, Brother Ning. Chapter 339. Ever since Su Yun got into Tang Jiu's car, the driver and the secretary, Pan Fei, who sat in the passenger seat, didn't speak. Su Yun's aura was too strong. Under this kind of aura, they were even nervous to breathe. After all, not everyone could do something so exaggerated. It should be known that if that person had fired a little earlier, Su Yun might have died on the spot. Su Yun, thank you so much for today. Tang Jiu thought about the consequences and was quite afraid. If Su Yun didn't appear, she probably wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed, let alone go to the convention center to bid. Su Yun frowned. He knew very well that he had ordered the green-faced beast and ghost-face Azura brothers to protect Tang Jiu. Why didn't they come with Tang Jiu? Why aren't Zhang Wuning and Zhang Yongliang with you? Tang Jiu was stunned for a moment before he explained, the 2 of them have been guarding the house all this time. Su Yun, I don't want to make things so complicated. I don't want to have 2 bodyguards by my side for everything. Besides, you know how the 2 of them look. They really aren't suitable to attend some events with me. Well, even if they are not suitable, you should at least bring 2 bodyguards who can take on the dangerous role when you go out, right? Su Yun was quite speechless at this point. Can the 7 people you brought be considered bodyguards? At most, they are top security guards. What are bodyguards for? Even if they die, they have to protect the boss. He's not a coward who's scared by 1 person and 1 gun. Tang Jiu knew that Su Yun was angry because he cared about her, so she obediently lowered her head and admitted her mistake. I'm sorry. I know what I did was wrong. Please don't be angry. Actually, you can't blame old Chen and the others. They didn't dare to do anything because they were worried that if they did, they wouldn't be able to deal with it. They were afraid because that person had a gun. If they hurt me, they couldn't bear the responsibility. What else could Su Yun say? The boss didn't even blame his own people, so he had no right to say anything. I hope they're really thinking from your perspective. Tang Jiu, I left the Zhang brothers with you so that you can bring them with you at critical moments. They could have followed the car here. At most, they could have stayed in the car and waited for you in the car instead of bidding with you. That way, none of this would have happened. After all, the green-faced beast and ghost-face Azura were both first-rate experts. They had the power to dominate any place east of the river. Alright. I got it. Don't nag anymore. Tang Jiu's voice was a little coquettish. Didn't I already apologize to you? Why are you still not done? I was wrong. I admit defeat. Didn't you settle everything now? Nothing happened at all? Hee. If something were to happen, it would be over. Su Yun really didn't have any temper. It was probably useless to say anything to her. She could do whatever she wanted. Right, what happened to you? Sister Frost picked up my call yesterday. She said you were unconscious for 2 days. You scared me. Tang Jiu nervously reached out to touch Su Yun's forehead and muttered to herself, "It's not hot. I don't have a fever. I was just sleepy and wanted to sleep. It's not as troublesome as you think." Su Yun was speechless. So, you should just mind your own business. Tang Jiu rolled her eyes at Su Yun. What about Guagua? How's Guagua recently? Is she doing well? Su Yun shrugged. Not bad. She's attending classes as usual. Everything is normal. Let me tell you, if you see her today and she wants you to bring her to Ji Bay to play, you have to reject her. She's been too playful these few days. Tang Jiu nodded obediently. Alright, I got it. I'll do as you say. Don't worry. I really don't have confidence in you. Su Yun was furious when he thought about how Tang Jiu didn't listen to him and got out of the car to argue with the bald man with the golden necklace. Big brother, I really know my mistake. Please forgive me. I'll use the results of the project as an apology gift. Is that okay? Tang Jiu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. When did you become so wishy-washy? Su Yun was speechless and glared at Tang Jiu. Fine, if you think I'm wishy-washy, then I won't say anything and ignore you. The chauffeur and his secretary, Pan Fei, looked at each other. They had never seen President Tang like this before. President Tang was usually very serious, and his words were very rigid. But now, in front of Su Yun, it was as if he had returned to the rainy season when he was 17 years old. His smile was bright and beautiful. Su Yun was also able to sit still. After all, Tang Jiu was definitely one of the 4 beauties in Ji Bay. Hey, Chong, speed up. We'll go around from the outside. The only way to the exhibition center in the city is definitely blocked. Su Yun had called Chong. Since the other party's people could find people to block them at the entrance of the Northern Expressway, they could also deliberately create a car accident on the road in the city to cause a traffic jam to stop their opponents. Although this was only Su Yun's guess, Su Yun still felt that it was better to be careful. If they went around the outside, although the distance was almost twice as long, it was still much better than being blocked on the road. Okay. Chong hung up and started to speed up. After all, the cars behind them weren't cheap. Their performance was quite good. Even the 2 business cars could easily reach 150 or 60 miles per hour. Seeing the car speed up, Tang Jiu became nervous again. Unknowingly, they had wasted so much time there. There were only 20 minutes left. What if they were late? After seeing the nervous expression on Tang Zhou's face, Su Yun couldn't help but comfort her. Don't worry. As long as your driver can keep up with Chong, I can guarantee that we'll make it in time. Don't worry, it's under the condition that we don't break any rules. Tang Zhou heard this and breathed a sigh of relief. If we're late, all our efforts will be in vain. Have you finished the proposal? Su Yun smiled. I'm afraid you've been working hard these past few days. Take advantage of these 20 minutes to close your eyes and rest. Once the exhibition center is closed, I won't be able to help you. I don't know how many people are competing for this project, and I don't know how strong the opponents are. It's all up to you. Tang Zhou bit her lower lip and nodded confidently. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Seeing that Tang Zhou was so confident, Su Yun was very satisfied. Under the guidance of Chong, the 4 cars of the Tang group finally drove into the exhibition center before the doors closed. Tang Zhou and the team she brought finally entered the large conference room 1 minute before the bidding began. Chong took out a cigarette and handed it to Su Yun. Looking at the scattered cars in the parking lot of the exhibition center, he said, Brother Yun, I have a feeling that there won't be many people bidding this time. Is there a need for you to have a feeling? Su Yun didn't take the cigarette and pushed it back. Since they dare to put on this show at the exit of the North Expressway, they will dare to do the same at the exit of the South Expressway and the East Expressway. Many people from other cities who came to bid might have been stopped. In order to save their lives, I believe that most people will obediently return home. And I'm afraid that this infamy will be thrown on the heads of the 3 tigers of Southern City. Chong grinned and sighed. That bastard is really sneaky. But this bastard is really bold. He dares to play in our Hadong territory. He really doesn't put us in his eyes. Brother Yun, we can't be slapped in the face and not fight back, right? Su Yun narrowed his eyes. Chong already understood that Brother Yun's narrowing of eyes was definitely to slap the face of the person who offended them. Su Yun said lightly, Of course we won't not fight back, but now is not the time. He will definitely take the initiative to stick his face to us. At that time, we will give him a hard slap and let him know that he has to pay the price for what he did. At this time, Su Yun received a text message from Lu Feng. He was afraid that Su Yun would follow them to the bidding site, so he didn't call. The general meaning was that after the matter was settled and the impostors were tied up, he directly called the police and asked Su Yun if there were any other tasks for them to do. Su Yun immediately sent a text message to Lu Feng and asked the 3 of them to take people to the East Expressway exit and the South Expressway exit. Maybe there would be new gains. About an hour later, Dan Hongning sent over the good news that he had cleaned up the group of guys at the exit of the East Expressway. 2 hours later, Kong Zhong sent another message, saying that he had also sent the group of imposters at the exit of the South Expressway to the police. There were more than 30 people at each exit. It seemed that the other party had invested a lot to win this project. Su Yun looked at the conference room of the exhibition center nervously. It had been 2 hours. It was lunchtime, but no one was coming out. It seemed that the competition was quite fierce. He really didn't know if Tang Zhou could handle it alone. Brother Yun, it's already so late. Should we find a place to eat first? I guess I won't be out for a while. Chong also knew that Su Yun had just woken up after sleeping for 2 days. He was also worried about his physical condition, so he had to remind him. Su Yun couldn't leave in peace. It wasn't impossible for them to fight in anger. If this project didn't fall into the pocket of the Tang group, then he wouldn't be in the mood to eat. If you are hungry, go and buy 2 boxed lunches. Just make do with 1. Chong wasn't willing to listen. Brother Yun, are you slapping my face? How can I let you eat boxed lunches? If Sister Shuang knows about this, she will definitely scold me. Your body needs nutrition now. Don't talk so much nonsense. Su Yun didn't wait for Chong to finish and interrupted him directly. Are you going or not? If you don't go, get out. Eat whatever you want. Don't worry about me. Chapter 340. About half an hour later, Chong bought a lunchbox from somewhere. There was really everything in it. Sea cucumber, abalone, crab, pork ribs, chicken drumsticks. Isn't this too exaggerated? Where did you buy it? The owner of this shop wants to close down. How much is a box? Su Yun and Chong didn't have to be polite. They directly leaned against the car hood with the lunchbox and ate it in big mouthfuls. 2 days ago, I saw Xiao Fei and his girlfriend handing out sea cucumbers in the shop, so I knew I could eat it today, so I rushed over and asked him to make 2 for me. Later, when he heard that I was here to deliver food to Big Brother Yun, he immediately steamed abalone and crab. Later, his girlfriend said that although eating abalone was nutritious, it didn't make him hungry. Things like pork ribs and chicken drumsticks were more affordable, so he made 2 sets of box lunches with sea cucumbers, abalone, crab, pork ribs, and chicken drumsticks. Later, his girlfriend said that eating these things was nutritious, but it didn't make him hungry. Things like pork ribs and chicken drumsticks were more affordable, so he made 2 sets of box lunches with sea cucumbers, abalone, crab, pork ribs, and chicken drumsticks. Brother Yun, this rice is the local fragrant rice of Hadong. There are only 5 or 6 acres of land that can produce this rice. Su Yun ate very quickly. Xiao Fei, this child, is quite interesting. Why didn't I know when he found a girlfriend? Soon, Su Yun finished the quite sumptuous mixed lunchbox. Chong immediately took out the mineral water from the trunk and handed it to Su Yun. Then, he threw the garbage bag into the trash can not far away. Su Yun couldn't help but clap and cheer. He didn't expect Chong's quality to improve so much. This really made Chong embarrassed. Brother Yun, we can't keep waiting like this. Do you think it's so difficult to start a project? Don't they eat lunch? Chong was puzzled. These people are really hard-working. Su Yun didn't know what the procedure was, but according to his experience, this matter was a bit special. Maybe Feng Guoqing deliberately messed with it, so it became so complicated now. Feng Guoqing didn't want Qin Zhongming to have any achievements, so it wasn't strange for him to do such a thing. Chong grinned and shook his head. Uncle Qin and the other leaders are also starving inside? That's impossible, right? Su Yun sneered. Anything was possible. Looking at how things were being done in such a hurry, who knew what Feng Guoqing was up to? Moreover, Su Yun always felt that someone knew about this in advance, and this person was very likely to be Fan Tianlong, the boss of Yijiang City's brilliant construction group. If he knew about today's bidding a day in advance, he wouldn't have arranged the road blockade so perfectly. This matter must have something to do with Feng Guoqing. Although Feng Guoqing said that he would let Qin Zhongming be in charge of this matter, in fact, it was very likely that he was manipulating things behind the scenes. After all, anyone who knew about this project would have to contact him, the secretary. If it wasn't for Feng Guoqing's close relationship, he could directly mention it to Qin Zhongming and let Qin Zhongming take the trouble. But if it was his own close relationship, he could use the information he knew to manipulate things behind the scenes and let his own people get the opportunity first. Maybe that group of people dared to attack the southern 3 tigers in Hadong City because they had Feng Guoqing's support, so there was nothing to be afraid of. It seems that this matter is really getting more and more complicated. Su Yun smiled slightly. Whether Tang Jiu can win this project or not depends on his luck. If Tang Jiu can't win this project this time, Chong, come with me to Feng Guoqing's house tonight. Chong agreed, and then was startled. Brother, why are you going to the secretary's house? Are you going to get something on him again? If Tang Jiu can't win this project, then Feng Guoqing slapped me hard in the face. Do you think I should pay him back? Su Yun raised his eyebrows and said to Chong. Chong said firmly, yes, of course. Don't mention that he's just a small city's party secretary. Even if he's a big official of the party secretary, as long as you say the word, I, Chongzi, will do anything for you. Su Yun waved his hand to signal him to calm down. Okay, you don't have to show your loyalty here. I won't let you commit murder or arson. Just wait obediently. I don't think this project will be decided in a short time. If they come out early in the morning, I'm afraid this matter will be aborted. On the contrary, the longer they discuss it inside, the more likely this matter will be decided as soon as possible. Yes, Brother Yun, I think so too. Chong didn't understand what Su Yun was talking about, but he knew that whatever Brother Yun said made sense. He just had to listen. Time passed very slowly. 2 hours passed, and the people in the conference room still didn't come out. Su Yun knew that this matter would be decided today. He finally couldn't wait anymore and asked for a cigarette for Chong. What Su Yun didn't expect was that he waited outside for a full 7 hours. He came here from 10 in the morning, and it wasn't until 5 in the afternoon that he saw the door of the conference room of the convention center finally open. Soon, the Tang Group's team walked out of the conference room with smiles on their faces. Tang Zhou had been suppressing the excitement in her heart. She had to remain dignified and reserved. After all, her image represented the Tang Group. If she wasn't the lousy CEO, she would have been so excited that she would have taken off her high heels and run over to Su Yun to give him a big hug. Compared to Tang Zhou, the atmosphere when the other group of people came out was much gloomier. The group of people surrounded a young man in his early 30s. Although the weather was cold enough, he was still only wearing a black shirt. On his wrist was a string of large tiger's eye stone prayer beads. His eyes were filled with a vicious aura. Although there was no writing on the young man's face, Su Yun's sixth sense told him that the person he was looking at now was Fan Tianlong. There was no reason, it was just intuition. Tang Zhou had already walked up to Su Yun. She held back her laughter and said to Su Yun, "We won. Only the two of you are competing?" Su Yun didn't let the victory go to his head. His eyes met the young man's gaze. At that moment, a chill ran down his spine. Tang Zhou nodded. Yes, the other company is Yijiang City's Glory Construction Group. The boss is Fan Tianlong. I really suspect that he was the one who sent people to stop us this morning. Su Yun smiled faintly and said to Tang Zhou, "You don't need to doubt it. I'm certain that he did it." While speaking, Su Yun's eyes never left Fan Tianlong's gaze. Fan Tianlong stared at Su Yun, who was standing beside Tang Zhou, from afar. He didn't know why he was competing with that person, but he didn't want to look away now. He had to stare until the other party didn't dare to look at him. However, Fan Tianlong might have met his match this time. Su Yun didn't even think about avoiding Fan Tianlong's gaze. Su Yun didn't have anything to avoid because Su Yun knew very well that the conflict between them had just begun. If he let the other party gain the upper hand at this time, he didn't know if he would become complacent. This was Hadong. Su Yun also knew very well that in his territory, he wouldn't allow himself to lose to anyone. He wouldn't show any weakness in any of the details. Just like just now, Su Yun was prepared. If Tang Zhou didn't get the project, he would definitely go to Feng Guoqing at night and force him to change the person. Su Yun believed that he had the means to make Feng Guoqing do what he wanted. Fortunately, he was very satisfied with the result. This way, he didn't have to go to Feng Guoqing at night. Instead, he could have a grand celebration party with everyone in the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. At this time, the three tigers of Nanqing had already taken their brothers to the hotel. They didn't think that the bidding would take so long. After Ruan Qingshuang knew the purpose of the three tigers of Nanqing's visit, she immediately asked LV Wenyi to calculate the number of people and arrange a suitable hall. She also asked Liang Shan to immediately inform the kitchen to prepare the celebration party. When Su Yun and Tang Zhou were about to leave, Qin Zhongming also walked out of the conference room. When he saw Su Yun, he immediately waved at Su Yun. It seemed that he didn't expect Su Yun to be there at all. Su Yun let Tang Zhou get in the car first and then walked over. "Uncle Qin, come to the hotel tonight. We have a celebration party. There will be quite a lot of people and it will be quite lively. Come and join us in the fun." "I'm afraid I don't have time tonight. I have to work overtime and get this project contract done as soon as possible." Qin Zhongming's face was full of smiles. Today's matter was really thrilling. I didn't expect Feng Guoqing to secretly take advantage of me. I've long wanted to give this project to President Fan of Glory Construction Group in Ijeong City. However, in terms of qualifications, ideas, and management talents, the Glory Construction Group was far inferior to the Tang Group. That's why I insisted on choosing Tang Group. Of course, it's not because of you. It's entirely because of Tang Group's ideas and capabilities. When Su Yun heard this, he understood why it took so long. Qin Zhongming smiled helplessly. But everyone must have received instructions from Feng Guoqing. They all think that Glory Construction Group is better. I can't win against them alone, so I directly reported this matter to the provincial government. I have an old leader in the provincial government. He attached great importance to this matter. Then, haha, you know that government matters need to be resolved in a meeting. That's why it took so long. In this matter, the result is far more important than the process. Su Yun, Uncle Qin, thank you very much. Thank me? Ha ha ha, I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for bringing such a good project to Hadong City. Qin Zhongming let out a long sigh of relief. This project will bring more than 20% economic growth to Hadong City. It will also promote employment and directly increase the per capita income. That's great, that's great. That you're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.